Welcome back into Rounding Third Baseball, episode 272, opting in for the offseason shenanigans. I'm Nick. We have Harrison tonight. How are we doing, Harrison?
I am fantastic. I will always opt into off-season shenanigans. I'm right there with you.
I mean, the offseason is already cranking. Like, this is crazy. We've had so many people opt in. I mean, heck, we had Pete Alonso opt out with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. So, I mean, so we had that, but we have a ton of stuff to get to. We have awards predictions. We have a news trivia segment, team spotlight trivia. So we'll like that. And just opt in, opt outs, mutual options, team options. We'll get to all of it. But first, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our affiliate sponsors, Logitech, MLB Shop, and Lids. You can find these links on the tops of all of our socials. So if you do any shopping for these products, please do it through our links as we get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you. Just a great way to support the show. We also have Rounding Third merch on Etsy. If you search Rounding Third Baseball, we have sweatshirts, t-shirts, tumblers, phone cases, mugs, pint glasses, whole bunch of stuff on there. Just another great way to support us and to get our name out there. And we all know you look good in Rounding Third merch. We do have some followers that have it. So please check that out.
Don't miss out.
We also are on Patreon. So we will start putting exclusive content on there. That is where we're going to put our Jeopardy shows, our Family Feud shows eventually. So check out Patreon if you want in on the prizes that will be given away if you win Jeopardy or Family Feud. So check us out on Patreon. All right, Harrison, right off the top, let's get into this. This dropped at like 3:30 the Eastern time this afternoon. Paul De Batista, is that how you say it?
D Podesta.
De Podesta. That's exactly
There.
what I said.
That's exactly what I heard.
Yeah. So former
For the record, we never butcher names on this show. Never.
never. So former Browns. Yep, don't adjust your sets. That is Browns, as in Cleveland Browns, front office executive, and you might know him because of the A's Moneyball man, analytics man, is to be the new Rockies general manager or president of baseball ops or whatever you want to call the title. What was your initial thoughts on this, Harrison?
I mean, I think they should change this title right away to Chief Losing Officer because, I mean, this team's going to continue to suck under D Podesta's guidance. This is an embarrassment to Rockies fans to hire this guy and pretend like that was the plan all along. This guy was, as we all know him as Peter Brand from the Moneyball movie, because he would not let them use his name in the movie. So Peter Brand, Jonah Hill's character in Moneyball, is Paul D. Podesta, who was an analyst. He's well known for bringing analytics to baseball. That's his claim to fame. He was Billy Beane's right-hand man. Then he went and worked for the Dodgers for a couple of years, got fired after 20 months for doing a terrible job there, went to the NFL. The Browns have gone to 56 and 99 since he's been part of the organization as their chief strategy officer.
I mean, that's pretty good for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, I mean, yeah, but he's a chief strategy officer who is bringing analytics to them to improve their play. They've been just as bad since he got there. Nobody in Cleveland really knows what he does. Cleveland Browns fans are rejoicing at the fact this guy's leaving, and the Rockies are trying to play this off as we got our guy. It's an embarrassment. The Monfort family should be embarrassed today, and Colorado Rockies fans should be burning jerseys and walking away from this team.
As we have been following this closely, articles have been coming out, and there seems like there's a little bit of uneasiness between Monfort dad and Monfort son about like what they want to do going forward. Now, there were other candidates that possibly could have turned this team around, and they just absolutely looked the other way. Now, to their credit, they did said, "Hey, They did say, we are going to go outside the box here.
Yep.
Now, outside the box to us was like, okay, outside the organization. We're not going to hire within. We're going to bring somebody that's not attached to the Colorado Rockies. Rockies fan, Harrison, not plural. That's fair.
Yeah, I hate to say it, Michael, but you're not wrong. I mean, I think the Rockies might be down to a fan now because Rockies fans should be furious.
That it's terrible. So when they're going outside the box, we're like, okay, like this sounds great, right? From the outside looking in, we're thinking, okay, yeah, you need a change of scenery. You need somebody from the outside that is seeing baseball from a different perspective because hiring within, keeping the same manager on the bench, all of that stuff like isn't working. And granted, you are in a gauntlet of a division. I get
Yeah.
that. But you haven't even remotely started to turn this organization around. And you need somebody that can A, evaluate talent, and B, has a passion for the team. And there was some candidates out there that had those. And they chose not to go with them, and they go with a numbers guy that has been in football since 2014 or whatever the year is.
16, but
16, sorry.
10 years in the NFL.
Yeah, probably can't evaluate talent to save his life. I'm going to throw that out there. You know, I'm assuming, but it's never stepped foot on a Major League Baseball field, has been behind books and computers his entire life. I mean, I might be overstepping here, but this is not the correct direction for the Rockies. I'm sorry. And this is strictly a penny pinching move. That is all this is.
Yeah, I mean, Paul DePodesta has very little success he can point to in MLB. Was he one of the first analytics guys? Yep. Was he Billy Bean's right-hand man through the whole Moneyball era? Yep. When he went out on his own, he crashed and burned, and then ran away from baseball. Basically, he realized that it wasn't going to work for him after he crashed and burned in LA, so he ran away. And more information has come out in the last little while. What we're learning now is that Arizona Diamondbacks assistant GM Emil Sade, am I saying that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
He actually rejected the Rockies offer. He just said pass.
Yeah,
And
hard pass.
Cleveland Guardians assistant GM Matt Foreman, who was the other guy that was in the running, pulled out. He just said, "I'm no longer interested. I'm out, guys." So the two guys that were the leaders that were kind of leading the charge 3 days ago both passed. They both stepped back and said, "No, thanks." And then all of a sudden, DePodesta gets brought out there today. All of a sudden, as the guy. I honestly think I'm sure Sade saw the offer and was like, "This is a joke. I can't come in and run an organization like this." And if I'm Matt Foreman and I'm looking at my role with the Guardians or that with the Rockies, I don't want that to be my first job because I think what the Rockies got in Paul DePodesta is a guy who's going to do basically what he did with Billy Bean. He's going to be the analytics guy. He's going to give an opinion on how to build the team. But I think the Monforts are going to make the decisions. I think he's the GM or president of baseball ops, whatever, in title only. The owners are going to run this team, and DePodesta is going to basically be their analyst.
Yep, and the article that I sent you the other night, the owners aren't seeing eye to eye on this.
No,
at
no.
all. They're not.
Sun wants
They're
to go
not
a
on,
totally different direction.
which I agree with because this whatever they're doing now is not working, and this is the other thing that completely irks me. They were mathematically out of it. What, second week of September, first week of September,
Third week
and
of April. I mean,
I mean, fair, but like, what are you doing waiting until all these players have already opted out? You still don't even have a general manager in the seat until today. Like, you need to have a general manager in place so when the offseason hits, you hit the ground running. Like, this
Come
guy's ready
on,
to go.
Nick, do you hear yourself? You think the Rockies are signing people? I mean, what planet do you live on, man? I love you, but man, what planet are you on? They don't sign anybody.
I mean, fair.
The opt-outs don't even matter because they're not even gonna pick up the phone. But no, I mean, you make a
Yeah.
valid point. Like, you haven't had anybody in the seat with all this flurry of activity because it's like you're kind of waving the white flag already. We know we're not in, so we're just gonna hang back and chill. Yeah,
Yeah. The
jokes.
Colorado Rockies have already been eliminated from the 2026 playoff race. And It really is too bad because there were candidates out there that are passionate about this team that want to see them do well and just didn't get the opportunity. And that's the Rockies' loss. Absolutely the Rockies' loss. And I don't know what happens here. I
Let
really don't. It's
let's not
brutal.
let's not forget, until was it this year? The Rockies held the record for attendance in, was
Yeah.
it '07? That is a fan base that is dying for a winner. They're dying to be relevant again, and they'll show up. I mean, the Rockies held the attendance record for a long time. Now,
Yeah.
granted, having a huge ballpark helps, but that just shows you the fans will come out. This is
Hmm.
a fan base that wants a winner, and I'm just waiting for all of the Denver Post articles to hit, because I think they're just going to roast the Monfort family for this. There's no way with a straight face you can sell Paul DePodesta as the guy to bring this team back to relevancy. No shot.
Yeah. I got nothing to add to that.
I
I
would
really
love to hear
don't.
them sell it though. I really would.
I
And
don't.
Mike, my, you know, I mean, it'll be interesting. It'll be entertaining to listen to, but there's no way. And I mean, Mike, the Rockies' only hope is they get moved out of the NOS. The Rockies' only hope is they get moved down to AAA. I
Yeah.
mean, can we bring relegation like they do in soccer to baseball? Because this is bad.
Yeah.
The Rockies just hired an analyst so the owner can make the personnel decisions. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. And this is incredible. Like you hit the nail right on the head right here. Their interest is dying too. Right? You lost. I saw so many comments on the post when they dropped this. Rockies fans are just like lost, even more so, if that's even possible. All of them were not positive. They were just like, are you kidding me? This was a great opportunity to bring in a first time guy with a that has a ton of gusto that wants to do the job correctly and turn it around and just could not. They didn't go that way. They went with a guy that has no clue about evaluating talent, which is what this Rockies team needs to do in order to get out of the basement. That's your only way out of this is
Yep.
hitting on the draft, developing players, because you're not bringing in any big free agents. Let's be honest, right? We know their cash flow. They can't, right? It's not that they won't, they can't, right? There's a little bit of a difference there. Now, will they spend the money that they have? Probably not, because players don't even want to go there anymore. You need to put somebody in that seat that players want to play for. And there were candidates out there for that. And they chose to go a different direction. This one blows my mind.
Yeah, and this is not a team that's going to go sign a bunch of big contracts. This is not a team that has a farm system that's full of talent. They've got Charlie Condon and Ethan Holiday, who are years away from joining the team. You have no pitching in the minor league system at all. I mean, you need to bring somebody in who can basically, chuck a hand grenade at everything you've done and start over. This
Yes.
is not a rebuild. This is a reset. And you brought in a guy who's been out of baseball for a decade, who got fired after 20 months on the job as a GM and was basically a Billy Beans analyst for 3 years. And that's what you're getting. You're bringing in a guy to completely change your direction, who literally had the job for 20 months and couldn't do it.
Hmm.
I just I don't even know what the hell they're doing in Denver. The only thing I can think of is that they really are kind of like a mile high over there with all the marijuana, because none of this makes sense.
Yeah. And Ryan, I mean, you threw in the towel trying to compete in the West, decided to keep their money, like all of it. I mean, I get it. I mean, the Rockies are at this point where this is what it looks like to us. It is like we are just existing. We don't care. We can't compete in this team, so we're just going to exist, and we're not going to try to get better. I just I don't understand that thinking. You're a professional franchise, for crying out loud. It's
You
unbelievable. And John, yeah, this will work well. It's like
Yeah.
it makes no sense to me. It really doesn't.
Of the options they had, Foreman was the best option. This guy has helped architect that Guardians team on a
Yes.
shoestring budget to relevancy,
Hmm.
and he's been a big piece of it. He's not like the assistant GM in the sense of like, "Hey, go get coffee and stay out of the way." Like, he's a big part of what they do, and he saw the dumpster fire that was the Rockies front office and just went, "No, thanks."
Yeah.
I mean, and did they have great options? No, people weren't banging down the door for this job, but you had a couple of guys in Sade and Foreman who were very well qualified, Foreman especially, and you come back with you resurrect Paul DePodesta from the junkyard. I just it's crazy.
Yeah.
Good luck, Rockies. I hope you love the basement.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
Get comfortable.
Ugh, brutal.
Terrible.
All right, let's move on from that and get into the no thanks, I'm opting out. So here is the list of players that have already opted out. Big name players, I should say. I'm sure there's some other ones. But here we go. Robert Suarez from the Padres, Bregman for the Red Sox, Diaz and Alonso for the Mets, Harrison Bader for the Phils. Imanaga was a mutual team and player, both opted out. Polanco and then Pete Fairbanks was declined his option with the Rays today. The team declined
The
his
team did.
option. Sorry, the team did.
You wouldn't have kept Pete Fairbanks for $11 million? I mean, really?
Uh,
Okay.
I'm sure some team will take him to shut the door for him. There's
For
tons of
sure.
teams there's tons of teams that need a closer out there. Pete Fairbanks is probably like, thank you. I'm going to the
Well,
Dodgers now. They need another closer.
I'm with you on that one. If I'm Pete Fairbanks, I'm like, "Thank you." Like, "See ya." I'm gonna go get paid somewhere and pitch.
Crazy. Um, Out of any of these guys, do any of them surprise you any?
Um, surprise me, no. I guess I didn't really expect Imanaga or Diaz
Mhm.
to end up out, and so with Imanaga, it was the Cubs had the option to either add a year to his contract or he got to opt out. They said, "We're not adding the year," so I think he kinda saw that as, "Well, you don't really want me then, so I'm gonna go find a new home." And then Diaz, I think, is just strictly, I had a monster season and I just wanna re-up my contract. I think for him, it's just a matter of, I know I can get more than when I signed this, so why not?
I don't know. I think Diaz wants out of the Mets. I
I
think,
wouldn't blame him.
yeah, I think that I'm with you on Imanaga. I think that one's interesting because the Cubs need pitching right now. You don't know the status of Steele coming back, and you lose Imanaga. So I mean, you could be without your 1 and 2 guys. Now maybe they go out in the free agent market or wheel and deal for a Scooble. I don't know. That's just me talking off the top of my head there. I have no validity to that statement, but it's kind of weird that they rejected that one. Now, he didn't have a great back half of the season, right? I mean, he gave up a lot of home runs. We saw it in the division series with the wild card series with the Brewers.
Yep.
Maybe the Cubs just didn't like what they saw the last few months, but some team's going to pick him up and he's going to be a great number 3, 4, maybe even a 2. Hell, he could be the ace for the Rockies. So, I mean, that one was the real shocker to me out of this group.
Yep. Yeah, I
But
honestly, he was not on my radar as a guy that was gonna see free agency, and, so 2024 was his first season, he was 15-3 with a 2.91 ERA. This past year, he wasn't fully healthy, he missed some starts, made 25 starts, went 9-8 with a 3.73 ERA and 144 innings. I mean, a guy who, yes, he has been touched by the long ball. He gave up 27 and 24 and 31 last year, so he gives up the long ball. Doesn't
newsflash, everybody gives up the
well,
long ball nowadays.
that's not wrong. You know, doesn't walk a lot of guys. He's got that going for him. But a guy who's a solid, to your point, probably a 2 or a 3 on most teams. That think the I I think the Cubs might have missed on this one, unless there's just something that they don't like about the makeup of the profile. I don't I don't follow that.
Yeah.
If
I
I'm the Cubs, I'm keeping a left-handed pitcher if I
yeah.
can.
So now that all these guys have opted out, we will not true. I
Joseph, you're
surrendered no home runs last year.
Joseph, you're right. None of us gave up any home runs last year, so that is true.
um How do we feel about Shelton and the Twins? We'll get to the managers in a little bit here. I think he's a stopgap. We kind of talked about it last week. I think he's a stopgap to just kind of hopefully rebuild that team. I'm not crazy about it, but maybe he'll do well with that young group.
Yeah,
I don't know. It'll be tough.
I like Shelton for the Twins right now because he is a stabilizing force. He's okay with a rebuild. I kind of agree that he's a stopgap. I don't think he's the guy they wanted. I think he's the guy they could get. But he's a good guy to oversee a rebuild. But I also wouldn't be surprised if you look up in a couple of years and that Twins team is decent again and he's still there,
Yeah.
and doing well. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. No, he's not going to San. He's going to LA. Let's be honest.
Well,
He's
ev-
going to join his Japanese counterparts.
everybody's waiting for a phone call from the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be serious. I mean, I'm pretty sure Pete Alonso, Suarez, Bregman, Diaz, Imanaga, they're all getting phone calls from the Dodgers.
Yep. 1,000%. If they haven't
Fairbanks,
already. Yeah. If they haven't already.
they might all go to the LA. I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, wait until you see my free agent predictions. I'm going all Dodgers, all
And
35.
you'll probably be right on 50% of them.
Yep. So, all right.
So before we jump from that, did
Sorry.
did you see the reports out of Chicago regarding Tucker?
No.
So the Cubs came out. The Cubs word today was basically they're not pursuing Kyle Tucker. They are unlikely to pursue him, because he's looking for a $300 million plus contract, and that's just not something they're going to entertain. So effectively, they're not even at this point attempting to. They did extend both Tucker and Imanaga qualifying offers today, so they get draft pick compensation when they do leave.
Well, smart.
But they're not planning to negotiate with Tucker at this point.
Yeah. Smart. Yeah. You're saying everyone can't go to LA. That's what you think, Mike.
Just watch.
They found the loophole, but just like always.
They're going to sign all these guys to $1 billion and defer 98% of it for 20 years.
Yep.
Like, just you wait.
And
There's going to be a signing this offseason where we all go, holy crap, really? Where are you going to put that guy?
Yep. Yep. And they'll have the
At least
lowest
one.
payroll in baseball because it's all deferred.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I hate that you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael. I think you're selling yourself short. You might get a call from the Dodgers at this point. They might just want somebody that's sitting on the bench to tell these guys old baseball stories to keep them entertained while they're up 10-0 in a game in April. I don't know. I wouldn't rule it out.
Yep. All right. The story is he's opting in. So Trevor Story opting in with the Red Sox. Does he ultimately slide to third base? Marcelo Meyer goes to short. We have Roby Gonzalez at second. And we have, dare I say, Pete Alonso at first. Do we see Trevor Story moving off shortstop with this opt-in?
I think you have to move him. I think you have to move him to third base for a couple reasons. One, defensively, he's not the same guy, and he's
okay. He's solid.
He's okay. He's not as good as he once was. He's still a good shortstop. I'll give him good. He's not great. He's good. His range is very limited. He's got a great arm, which plays well at third base. But two, I think if they could take a little bit of the physical load off of him and put him in a place like third where he can just kind of like step into dive, read and react, and just throw it across the diamond, I think you'd get more out of him. I feel like we saw him kind of run out of gas later in the year. And I think that's a good indication that moving him off of short over to third, maybe even over to first, who knows how this whole thing plays out. But you've got to move him to a corner, and you've got to make room to let Marcelo Meyer do his thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't wait 2 more years for Marcelo Meyer to play his position.
Ryan, he turned an ankle opting in.
As long as he doesn't bust up the shoulder again, then we can work with that.
That's still one of the grossest injuries I've seen live. That one was brutal, man. See, brutal. I was thinking second base too, Mike, but and that could be an option. If you got Meyer at short, and if they don't land a free agent first baseman, which that cryptic message that Tristan Cassis dropped the other day was, I don't even know what that. It's. I think the dude was drunk, high, both. I don't even know.
Dude,
it was like
he's going to be transparent with us, though. I appreciate that. I'm not sure what he's going to be transparent about, but he's going to do it.
I don't even know what that statement said, but to me, if they lose out on a free agent first baseman, because there is some, right? You got Josh Naylor, you got Pete Alonso. There's some to be had out there. I think that's Romy's spot. I think Romy will slide to first, and you could put Trevor at second and hopefully go get a third baseman on the market. So, I mean, they have some infield flexibility there because you have guys that can play multiple positions, right? So that part is nice, but yeah, I think it all depends on how active they are this offseason, but we will see. It's
Yeah, and I
kind
think
of too
that's the
early.
nice thing. I think that's the nice thing with Trevor Story is you've got some flexibility. Moving him to second doesn't necessarily take much of a load off of him because he's still got a range at the middle, but it does make it a little bit easier. Um, I do think that with the limited range, he's not an ideal second baseman anymore. Maybe third baseman, he's more suited for third base. But I think the nice thing is that based on how the offseason turns out, you can decide later where you put him. I
Yep.
think that having his bat in the lineup, he's still got some speed as he showed this year, which I think gives you some flexibility with him. I just think that you have the benefit of being able to flex him around based on what you do and don't get.
Yeah.
Um,
Agree.
and if people aren't sure what we're talking about, the Tristan Cassis post literally is this for word for word. If we're going to have any chance of something decent, it's stuff like this that needs to be addressed. I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible, within reason, no delusion, just normalizing the tough conversation. And everybody's like, well, if you're trying to be transparent and you're doing that via a cryptic message, what the hell are we doing here?
Right.
Like,
Right.
you started off by not being transparent, and nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. And even the Red Sox are like, what?
It's just
You'll it has to be the fact he realizes they're gonna go try to find a replacement for him and probably spin him out of town.
I mean,
I
you
can't
have
see him playing of this team next year.
you have to. You don't know what he's going to be coming back from that ruptured patellar tendon. And that was a gruesome injury. That is not an easy recovery. And yes, Ryan, you're right. Cassis is a strange cat to begin with,
Yes.
but I just don't know what you're going to. I've said this before, he's Bobby Dahlback 2.0,
Yep.
just from the left side. There's 2 weeks where he is absolutely unconscious. No one can get him out. He's hitting balls out of the ballpark. He's hitting gaps. And then he goes a month where he can't hit a pitch with a tennis racket. I mean, the Red Sox want stability at first. We haven't had stability at first base since Mo Vaughn. We haven't had a consistent first baseman for a numerous stretch of years. Has it really been since Mo Vaughn?
I mean, you've had stretches with, like you had Millar there for a little while. You
Like what,
had
2 or 3 years? I'm talking
yeah,
like
that
a
was
sustained
yeah,
stretch.
Moreland was there for a few. I mean, no, it's been kind of a revolving door of guys that have kind of just come in and out.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll
I
see.
mean, but
Right.
but let's not pretend like let's not let Tristan Casas pretend like he's some big impact player. The dude's played 92 games in 2 years. We
Yeah.
don't even know you anymore, dude. Like,
Right.
fans have kind of forgotten about you.
Yep. Fair. I mean, Euclid, yeah, I guess I'd put Uke in that stability
Yeah,
category.
'cause
Yeah,
he
that's
he
fair.
did he did move across and stayed there for a little while.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
a good one. But,
yeah,
yeah, so he's probably your last one that had any real length of time there.
yeah, crazy. All right, Shane Bieber opts in for 16 million. Did he leave money on the table, or does he like it with the Blue Jays? Does he like that they're freaking good? Does that weigh into his decision? Or is this him betting on himself to have a Cy Young caliber year and get paid in his free agent year coming up, which we don't really know what's going to pan out because of the pending lockout.
Yeah, I think for Bieber, I think he liked it there. I think he finally felt, I think, kind of comfortable again, and why would you not wanna run it back with a team that literally came 2 outs away from winning the World Series? I feel like it's a good spot. He could be a big contributor to that team with a full season of health, let's hope, knock on wood. And I heard an interesting take today from it might have been John Heyman who made the comment of, Shane Bieber left money on the table here. to run it back with this team because there is something about what's going on in Toronto that guys are wanting to be a part of.
Mhm.
And apparently Bo Bichette has already said, like, I want to stay. Let's make it work. I don't need to be a billionaire. Like, just
Right.
pay me fairly.
Yep.
So I think they've got a good thing going. And the Blue Jays have indicated they plan to be aggressive in the offseason. Getting that close was painful, and they want to continue to keep going for it.
Let's be honest, they won that World Series 4 separate times.
I
I
mean,
mean, they didn't win it. They could have.
they
That's
could have.
what I'm saying.
I mean, they could have. They could
It's
have
tough.
closed. They could have won Game 6. They could have won Game 7 3 times, 4 times. I mean, they were so close. Like, you could not be any closer to winning without winning.
Yeah, absolutely insane. But yeah, I
And based
agree.
on what we saw from him, he could be nasty good for them.
Mhm. Yeah. But I ultimately agree with Ryan. I think it's all of the above, right? The team is good. They have a great chance to get back there next year. Um, I this is also a prove it year for Bieber. Can I stay healthy for all 162 or whatever, 32 starts, whatever it is? Um, so I think this was the right move for him right now. And now I think you can deal right. It's a future Shane Bieber problem at the end of this next season to see what happens with the lockout. And who knows, the market might explode after the lockout. We don't know. I mean, there's just so much up in the air there. But yeah, ultimately he wants to win, and this is the best place for him to do it. And I mean, listen, $16 million still isn't a bad payday, man.
No, I mean, you can do okay with 16 million bucks. Now, granted, you gotta take that money and pay your expat taxes and all the other fun, good stuff that comes with being in Canada. But I don't think Shane Bieber is feeling like he's going to be eating ramen next year. I think he's going to do okay.
Hey, easy. I like the chicken flavored ramen,
Dude,
so easy
I
on that.
love me some ramen. I literally had ramen for lunch yesterday. I love that stuff.
Yeah, so great.
But and Joseph, I think you're right. I think the maple syrup is better up there. And with a mustache like that, guaranteed he's chugging it like in Super Troopers. Guaranteed they are chugging maple syrup in that clubhouse.
God, I need to cue that movie up tonight.
It's
That's
such a
so
good.
good.
I need to watch Moneyball too. Talking about Deep Podesta got me thinking I got to make fun of Peter Brand again.
Yeah. All right. Chris Sale, the Braves pick up his $18 million option. Is this smart for the Braves?
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
I mean, if you can keep a guy that won a Cy Young 2 years ago for 18 million bucks, and a guy who was, he was good. Not the same guy because he was dealing with some injuries, which is Chris Sale's mo. But 18 million bucks for a guy that throws like him, I mean, that's a huge discount.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if he can stay on the field, Chris Sale becomes that stabilizing piece that the Braves need because he's been around the block. He knows how to win. He knows how to dominate. The Braves just need to stay healthy. That's their biggest thing. I mean, yeah, he's the greatest pitcher nobody talks about. And he is on a future list of ours where we talk about if they retire tomorrow or they Hall of Famers. He's on there. But yeah, if I'm the Braves, I think this is a no-brainer because your pitching staff, Spencer Strider can't stay on the mound. I think it's almost a have to for the Braves at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, he made 20 starts last year. He's 7-5 with a 2.58 ERA. Struck out 165 guys in 125 innings. He was still good.
Yeah.
He just missed a third of the season, which has been Chris Sale's MO. Imagine where this guy's career is at if he didn't basically miss 4.5 years. I mean,
We're
the
talking
dude
about one of the best lefties of all time.
he's in that conversation. It's sad because his win total is so low because of it. But this is a guy who's probably got 200 wins right now and 3,200 strikeouts,
Yeah.
and it's not even. It's kind of laughable where he's at.
Yep. Crazy. All right.
And the sad
Oh,
part to Ryan's point is the fact that I think because of all those injuries, people kind of forgot about Chris Sale. He just out of sight, out of mind.
yep. Yeah. All right. Salvador Perez, 2-year extension with your Kansas City Royals, Harrison. Do you like this or not?
Love this.
I'm going to say future Hall of Famer Salvador Perez.
Yes, he better be. I love this. I could not love it more than I love this. Is he the same guy he used to be? No. Can he run? No. Can he move? No. Can he catch every day? Nope. Can't do that. But he can still hit. There's not a guy in baseball more respected than Salvi, just around the game for his personality, his work ethic, what he does. If this Royals team is going to continue to build and develop young players, he is your like on-field ambassador, in the clubhouse ambassador. He's like having another coach out there.
Yep.
There's very few players in baseball that I have more respect for than Salvi Perez, and I could not love him returning for 2 more years any more than I do.
Yeah, he is the foundation of that Royals franchise and has been for years. Yeah, Salvi is to Casey as Molina
Yep.
is to the Cardinals. You're right. And for everything you said, he is the on-field coach. And to have a guy spend his entire career in one organization is unheard of nowadays, right?
Yep.
Yes, you have a few. Don't bite my head off. I understand that there's a few guys out there, but it's few and far between. Right.
Yes.
And I think this is absolutely incredible. Now it's interesting because now this pushes him out until after the lockout. And how does that affect the contract? Right. So it's 2 years. So yes, covers him for 2026. We don't know what's going to happen in 2027. So that it could, if we lose the full season, push him out to 2028. And now we're looking at guys that he'd be what, 40, 39?
Oh, he's 35.
Oh,
He
my
he
bad,
turns
Salvi.
yeah, he turns 36 in May of next year. So
Okay.
next year is his age 36 season, then it's 37. So yeah, he'd be 38 if he's there in 2020. My guess with Salvi is he signs this 2-year deal, and then he probably has another 1-year deal in his future, and then he probably just retires.
Yeah.
I don't think he's still going to be huffing around the field at 40 years old, but maybe. I mean, the dude he's a gamer. He
Yeah.
just loves to be out there. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you're talking about a guy who's 36, could lose his age 37 season to the lockout, comes back at 38, and that may be the end for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Tommy says, I love that Salvi has been with Kansas City's entire career and no desire to leave anytime soon. Much respect. And that's what it is. Like, as fans that are on the outside looking into KC, like, we can respect the hell out of that. I love that players have loyalty. You know, you look at Jose Ramirez that could have gone and gotten an absolute bag, right? And decided to stay with Cleveland because he likes it there. He said, hey, we can build a contender. Now they're not, which, I mean, they sort of are, I guess. I don't know. That's a conversation for a different day. But I can respect that. Like, these guys brought me up. These guys developed me. I'm going to stay. I owe it to them for my livelihood. Like, I love that.
Yep.
So, yeah, future manager, pitching coach. I could definitely see Salvi still in the game
Yeah,
in some capacity.
I think where he loves to work with younger players and pass on his wisdom, he would be a great minor league instructor, minor league coach, down there on the farm helping kids develop, because that's if you watch him in spring training, he's always hanging out with the younger guys because A, they want to learn from him, and B, he just loves to tell stories and show
Yeah.
guys the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, I mean, we have all types of fans from different, organizations on this show, and everyone's like, love Salvi staying
Yep.
put. And this just puts so much more respect on his name for doing this. Like, absolutely incredible.
Yep.
Love it.
And Mike, I totally agree. I wouldn't be shocked if he's playing at 40, but I think Salvi's the kind of guy that's only going to play at 40 if there's still legitimately a spot on the roster for him. I don't see him being the kind of guy who's going to try to just keep hanging on. I think when he gets the tap on the shoulder that says, "Hey, like maybe it's time," he's the kind of guy who's going to be like, "You're right. Like I need to go. I need to make room for this next guy." But to Ryan's point, I'll be in my office upstairs, so I won't be going far.
Yeah. Right.
Because I don't think you could get that guy out of KC. But I don't
Yep.
think he'll overstay his welcome either.
Yep. I agree. Ramon Laureano for the Padres exercised his $6.5 million option to stay with the Padres. Smart move for him with the impending lockout, or no?
I feel like with the season he just had, I would have tried to get something long term, so I wouldn't have to worry about the lockout. So I was actually surprised by that. But was that his option or was it the team option?
I'm pretty sure it was his option. It was his choice.
Okay, because I don't understand why he would. Oh no, the Padres exercise it. It's a club option.
Oh, okay. For some
That
reason, I thought it was player opt-in.
okay,
My
that
bad.
explains it. Because yeah, if I'm him, I don't want that option exercised. I want to go lock up a. I just had a massive season. I proved my value. I want to go get paid. The Padres are keeping him. I got the Dodgers on my mind because they basically own the Padres, but um, the Padres are keeping him for a fraction of what he's worth, and got to test drive him last year. So that's a no brainer to me to keep him.
He
But
was
I think it
that
stinks for him.
he was that Padres team at in stretches, like, in the second half. He
In
was a
September, he was.
monster. He was a monster for them. So, yeah, and this is it since it was the team option, that's my bad. Um, this is a no-brainer for the Padres with a team that is possibly financially strapped, if we
Yeah,
are
and a
looking at it correctly.
and a team that seems to be kind of lacking direction at the moment. They
Yeah.
I don't think they know who they are. And
Nope.
I think that AJ Preller is potentially on some thin ice there because
Mhm.
he's the gambler came out in him and it didn't work.
Nope. Not at all. Padres still think they can win with this group. It's super cute. I
You could
mean,
not have said it any better, Ryan. It's adorable. They still think this group can win because they've proven year after year they can.
it's bad.
And let's find out why. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So, on top of that news, Craig Stamen is named the Padres manager. And my first thought is like, okay, cool. Wait, what happened to that 19-hour interview they had with Albert Pujols last week? So, what does that mean for Pujols? Baltimore's gone. Like, what's left? Texas? Texas is the only
Uh,
team without a manager right now, right?
yes. Yeah. Braves hired Walt Weiss. Twins are
Yep.
done. I mean, yeah, that's it.
So, do we see Albert on the bench next year?
I I'm thinking no, and I'm thinking it might be a combination of maybe he doesn't like the opportunities out there because we don't know that maybe they offered him the job and he said no. I don't know. I will say I'm going to come back to the Craig Stamen piece because this is a bizarre story, but I don't know how you spend 9.5 hours getting interviewed to then not get the job.
I
Like,
lost on this one.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Pujols like slept in the front office after that, and yet they're like, never mind. Thanks, thanks for letting us waste a couple days of your life, Albert.
I don't whatever. I mean, it's par for the course for the Padres at this point.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. The Padres continue to confuse us. The hiring of Schilt confused us. Stamen confuses us, but interestingly, this whole Stamen situation is strange. So Stamen was a reliever for them. He's been in their front office the last few years. He was actually part of the interview committee in the first round of the interviews. Um, he's been the special assistant to the GM for the last 3 years. He was part of the interview committee for the first round of interviews. And then after that, he goes, you know what, guys? I'd like consideration for this job. So then he stepped in as he stepped into the pool and actually got interviewed and now has the job.
Because he probably saw the candidates and he's like, I got a shot at I can do better than these guys.
I think so. Or I'm also wondering, did AJ Preller look at him and go, dude, we don't have a better option. Like, can you jump into the ring here? Because or my other angle of this is AJ Preller's like, I don't need Albert Pujols telling me what to do. Craig, you take the
Mm,
job because I'll just keep telling you what to do. I,
that's
I
a
don't
fair
I don't
point.
know. The whole thing feels weird, but literally he was part of the interview committee through the first round of interviews, and then he excused himself from it and said, I want to be considered, and then got the job. The
It is
the pattern of things there is very bizarre.
it is interesting that you're bringing this point because as we've been kind of talking behind the scenes to certain people, we're starting to figure out that this is also boys club.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that fans don't see, that hell, probably the players don't even see, that
Nope.
is being said and behind closed doors. And it goes on across all 30 major league teams, right? Let's be honest. But some of them are better at hiding it than others. But they have an idea what they're going to do before they even start a hiring process. And this definitely reeks of that for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Just
And
weird.
Tom Krasovich from the San Diego Union Tribune said it best. In his article, he says, things to know about the hiring of Craig Stammen. First, this is a comfort hire, like an old shoe. Stammen played with these guys. He knows these guys. He's worked with Preller for years. This was Preller saying, I know exactly what I'm getting in this guy. I'm going to put him in. This was I don't want an outsider to come in and tell me what to do. I don't want an outsider to come in and tell me that I'm wrong. I don't want somebody to come in and think they're gonna help me run this ball club. I want somebody on the bench who's going to listen to me, and I know Craig will. That, I believe, is what this hire is all about.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's and everybody's saying it, and they're not wrong. It's a clown circus. It's a dumpster fire.
There's
It's
John Temple,
everything.
this dumpster fire. I love it.
Yeah, I mean it is, and looking at it from the outside, right? We don't have a we're not involved with the Padres. We don't follow them closely, but from the outside looking in, it's an absolute mess. And I don't know. Again, I don't know how they turn it around at this point,
Yeah.
because you're making the same mistakes over and over and over again. You're never going to win with that.
You brought in Bob Melvin and dismissed him after 2 years. You brought in Schilt and you basically dismissed him after 2 years, although he pretended like he was tired, boss, and needed a break. You passed on other candidates, including Albert Pujols, who you basically walked down the aisle with and said, "Nah, never mind. I'm I'm gonna hand you off." And then you brought in Craig Stammen, who hasn't managed a lemonade stand that I'm aware of,
Yeah,
and you're gonna hand the keys to your ball club, a ball club that's not that far away from being good, but just can't get it done, to Craig Stammen, who's
yeah,
never managed or coached at this level at all.
yeah. It's another weird hire for sure.
I
And yeah,
hope for
it's a crap sandwich in a dumpster fire for sure.
yes, for sure. I hope for Craig's sake that he ends up being a great manager and people don't this doesn't prove to be what we think it is, which is Preller just taking the easy hire and the yes man, but it really feels like that.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
I don't see Craig Stammen having the ability to stand in that clubhouse and tell Manny Machado to get in line. I just don't see that happening.
Nope,
And
not
maybe they
one
don't
bit.
want that to happen. Maybe that's the other side of the coin is that we want to keep these prima donnas happy. So Craig, just go down there and stroke their ego.
Mm-hmm. So staying with the Padres, Darvish, 39-year-old, will undergo Tommy John surgery to repair torn UCL. Will Darvish retire, or will we see him again in the big leagues? So 2026 is lost. He'll be 40. 2027 could possibly be lost. He'd be 41. Come back at 42 years old? Question mark.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Darvish is one of those guys who has taken very good care of himself. He's until this point, had relatively just minor stuff. Um, I should say lately. Earlier in his career, he had stuff, but this is a 12 to 15 month recovery. It's a pretty intense recovery from the brace surgery. This is that brace, right? That's what he's getting, not the Tommy
I
John, the brace.
Yeah, I call it all the same. He's
It's
getting
it,
his elbow repaired.
it's like the Tommy John Jr., but this is a 12 to 15 month recovery. It's a brutal recovery. I mean, he misses all this year. There's no baseball next year. I mean, is he really going to come back after 2 years off and pitch at 42? I don't see it. I don't see where he's going to be able to come back from that.
Yeah, I mean, if there is a guy, sorry, if there is a guy that could, I do kind of agree with Joseph. He has the movement on that baseball. He manipulates
Yep.
the baseball better than anybody in the league. The movement, the 18 pitches that he has, because he can put a variety on each pitch. Like, he does have that capability. But I mean, he's 39 years old. Like, I get it. He's a pristine athlete, or he wouldn't be in the major leagues. But this is a tough one to come back on. And especially if you're out of baseball for 2 years, lockout dependent. I just, for me, I'm leaning towards we won't see him again versus seeing him back. But in the same breath, wouldn't shock me if we do.
No, and this, I mean, this elbow surgery we saw coming for the last couple of years. He made 16 starts last year, 15 this year. Like he's been battling an elbow issue for 2 years. I don't know why it took that long to get to this point. I would have thought in 2024 when he was having pain, they would have just said, do it, just go and do it. But I think it's because they thought the window was, if they didn't do it now, they wouldn't have a chance to do it. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, he's the kind of guy, like I said, he's taken great care of himself. This is like getting a brand new elbow. He had been relatively healthy for the number of years leading up to this. He had some stuff early in his career, but not a ton lately, just this elbow that kept coming back. It's now fixed. He probably could still pitch. I just don't know that he will. I don't know that any
Yeah.
team's going to be like, yeah, I'd love to give you a contract as a 42-year-old. However, maybe an incentive laden contract and a prove it deal. And yeah, let's see what you still got.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
see it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he is signed through 2028. So, I
Oh,
mean,
goodness.
he would technically be under contract when he comes back.
At 42. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is another one of those deals that they cut that we were like, what are you doing? It's 6 years, 108 million.
Yeah.
I mean, he's signed through 2028. He's still going to be under contract
All right.
after the lockout season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that just guarantees he tries to come back, but like, can he handle a full-time load? Is he going to be a full-time starter? Who knows?
As long as they don't treat him like the Nationals treated Strasburg and was like, dude, I don't care that you can't lift up your right arm. Just we'll see you at spring training.
Yep.
Yeah. A closer
Yeah.
role in his future.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I think that Darvish is the kind of guy who could pitch. He could be a starter. He could be a reliever. He could be a late inning guy. I mean, he's got good enough stuff. He can get anybody out at any point in time. He is somebody who's always been a crazy creature of habit. He's got a long loosening up process, a long warm up before a game. I don't know that if you can translate that to the bullpen or not.
Yeah. Be interesting.
But
But
I mean, he's under contract, so maybe he does come back. I just question if he's still going to be an effective pitcher at that point.
yeah, we will see.
But it's the Padres' problem. Another bad contract.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you take this one, Harrison. You threw this one in the show. This is a pretty
All
funny
right.
quote here.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when this was said, if there's a press conference today or sometime this week, but I saw this and I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to put this on the pod because people are going to lose their minds. So Brian Cashman, kind of asking him his thoughts on the season and how they're going and what they're going to do next year. And this is one of the quotes he had. The team that out homers the other team always moves on in the postseason, and that's a fact. You also need contact. You need it all. I read this quote. I'm like, this is the general manager of the New York Yankees saying that our analytics say we need to hit home runs to win. Show me, Brian, where that's worked. Number one. And number two, then you basically contradict yourself and say, well, we need contact. We really need everything. What the hell are you trying to tell us here? You need home runs, but you need contact and you need everything. Well, no kidding. Thank you, Captain Obvious, for sharing what we already knew. This is the general manager of the New York Yankees discussing the future of the team, and we wonder why they can't win.
We've said it for years. They signed the same type of players year after year after year, expecting a different result. It gets them so far, and then they fall short because the 3-run homers dry up, right? And we can talk about Aaron Judge all we want, right? His homers only mattered in one game. It still didn't help them get out of that series with the Blue Jays, right? They don't put the bat on the ball consistently. Now, they started the season red hot. We're like, God, this Yankees team was putting up 15 runs a game for like the first 2 weeks. I just, for me, this in a nutshell, this quote summarizes the Yankees since 2009.
Yeah. I mean, it's
all over the place.
It's the Yankees since they last, or it's the Yankees since the dynasty, 01 and on. They
Yeah.
got the one World Series in '09, but otherwise, it's just the same team over and over again. '04, they brought in Sheffield, they brought in all these guys and couldn't get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
Madden quote. You need runs to win games. See, they call it a running back because he runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
Ryan, you
kidding.
sure he wasn't quoting Yogi? That
Yeah.
would have at
Right.
least made sense.
I
John
mean,
went the same path as the Madden quote. The team with more
yeah.
touchdowns and field goals, the other team usually wins the game.
And boom. Yeah.
I'm
Man, I don't know. This is just in a nutshell the Yankees. That's it.
Ryan Steinbrenner would put a hit out on Cashman. I mean,
Thousand
George would have
percent.
fired him. George would have fired him 10 years ago. I mean, it wouldn't have gone on this long, but you know, Cap, and I wonder if he's actually a baseball person. I just if I'm a Yankees fan, I'd love to see if there's any reaction from John Boy because they are big Yankee ball washers. But like, this is your general manager, this is your president of baseball, whatever his title is. This is the guy that builds your organization, and that's the quote he gave the media about what their plan is and how they're building this team. And I just shake my head at shocking that they haven't won a World Series in 16 years and they've won one in 25.
I
Um,
I got nothing more on this. I really don't. Like
yeah,
it just shows what they are doing there in New York. They
we,
don't have a clue.
no, we've said it for years. Cashman is just building a fantasy team every year, and they don't work out. And Joseph, I've said this many times. The Cashman was a full time GM in '98 when the dynasty had already been built. However, he was the assistant GM for 5 years before that. I want to say so. I give him some credit for the dynasty because he was in that front office helping put that team together. But you're right. He took over in '98 and they ran off 3 wins for a team that was already built by his predecessor with some of his help. And then when you cycled through that team and you were left with the rest of the pieces, he's won basically once in 25 years on his own.
Mhm.
That's not a super good record for the Yankees. I mean, this is the second was it the second longest World Series drought, Nick,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
in team history. That's your
Yeah.
GM.
And how he built it in '09 is not how Yankees had been built before and
No,
usually built within, right? '09 was not
no,
that built within team, minus a few, right?
yeah, yeah,
Obviously had a couple, but
yeah,
a lot of them were free agent signings. Teixeira, Giambi, A-Rod, all those guys were all free agent signings. So
totally.
I don't know.
Brian
Brutal.
Cash was the assistant to the traveling secretary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Crazy.
saw this quote. I'm like, I have to bring this up on the show because chat will love it.
Yeah, absolutely brutal for sure. All right, we are going to get on to our 2025 award predictions. Harrison and I are pretty even across the board with our picks. I mean, some of these guys are slam dunks, obviously. I mean, we don't
Yeah.
even really have to spend much time talking about them. There are a couple, obviously, that are ridiculous, but let's dive into it. The AL Manager of the Year, we both have Steven Vogt here. And I think this is a no-brainer. The way he made the Guardians come back and get into the playoffs, and also dealing with the Class A and Ortiz stuff in the midst of all of that. So he somehow still got his guys to go out and play every night in the midst of that controversy since, well, Ortiz was what, June? And then Class A couple months later. So for me, I think this is a slam dunk Stephen Vogt.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with for all the same reasons. I mean, I at first I picked Schneider. I'm like, this is Schneider. That team. That's a huge worst to first. That's a huge
I mean,
turnaround.
yes,
And then I'm really thinking about it. I'm like, well, Stephen Vogt had to deal with the Ortiz situation, the Class A situation. He had to keep these guys focused as they began to kind of sell off pieces. They had to overcome that massive deficit, which that massive comeback is as much the Tigers falling apart as it was the Guardians playing well. But they
fair.
were what, 19-4 in September. So I mean,
Yeah.
you got to give credit where credit is due. So I came back to Vote, and I'm like, I have to. I can't not give it to him because when you look at the crap hand he was dealt, he did
Mhm.
an awful lot with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, I forgot the piece that they sold at the deadline too. And we're
Right.
trying to move on from Stephen Kwan, but they just didn't like the package. And you know what? They still made the playoffs.
They,
So
they were
yeah.
calling up guys in July and August to fill roster holes. I mean, It was
Yeah.
not pretty there for a while.
No. Yeah. So Steven vote for the AL for both of our picks. We'll move over to the NL. I have Pat Murphy winning again. But I love your pick here with Tito Francona getting to the Reds to the playoffs to scrimmage the Dodgers in the first round.
So, yeah, I mean, and I'm actually shocked you didn't pick Tito because you might be the only person that likes Tito more than I do. But
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, to me, it's Pat Murphy and Tito. It's only those two guys that are really in contention here. And I feel like with Pat Murphy last year, he got it because that team was really kind of, you just lost Corbin Burns. You had Woodruff was out for the year. Like that team ended up
Yeah.
being good considering you were losing big pieces. This year, I feel like that team they were expected to compete. They weren't expected to win the division, that's for sure, but they're expected to compete.
Or have the best record in the NL, period.
Correct. Nobody saw them having the best record or winning that division. I think everybody thought they would be good, probably get in the playoffs and that'd be okay. So I feel like did he outperform? Yes. I look at what Tito did with a young team of a bunch of, a lot of raw, young, talented guys that were not supposed to be there yet that got there in part because the Mets fell apart because they meted, but also because like that team had a good second half. Like they didn't quit when they fell under 500. They just kept battling. And I think a lot of that is Tito. Tito got off to a bit of a rocky start there in April and May. There were people questioning if he could do it. And then that team turned as he got settled in and they all got settled in. And so to me, I think Tito had far less to work with than Pat Murphy did and was able to get that team to play every day, which we thought he would. So for me, I took Tito because I feel like he outperformed to a larger extent than Pat Murphy, but both of those guys deserve massive credit for what they did this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. As you said, we're both huge Tito guys. And when we heard of this hiring last offseason, we were like, hell yeah, this is the guy the Reds need to get over the hump. Now, we were both on record saying they're probably 2, maybe 3 years out. Like Tito's really got to get in there and sink his claws in. And then this Reds team is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I did not see them making the playoffs like they did. Yes, Carlos Mendoza and the Mets really helped in a bad way, but good for the Reds. But yeah, I mean, I'm ultimately with you. I think this is Tito Francona's. I just put Pat Murphy here just to be a little bit different. And the fact that the Brewers weren't supposed to have the best record in the NL. Were they supposed to be good? Yeah. Were they supposed to be the best? No. The 120 win Dodgers in the NL West were supposed to be. But,
Yeah.
they're playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. I get it. Whatever. That tired
They're,
story. But
they're playing chess. Everybody else is playing like Parcheesi. It's not even close, man. It ain't close.
absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. But all right.
But big credit to both those guys because it's
1,000%.
pretty incredible
Yep.
what they were able to accomplish.
Yep. All right. NL Rookie of the Year, a little bit of discrepancy here. How about you start with this one?
Sure. All right. So I was really stuck between Drake Baldwin and Cade Horton because I think both of them had incredible seasons. And ultimately I went with Cade Horton because when you look at that Cubs team, they lost Justin Steele, huge loss. You had this kid you didn't really know anything about, this 24-year-old kid with, good raw stuff. He goes 11-4, the 2.67 ERA,
Yeah.
gives you 118 innings pitched, makes 22 starts, had some issues later in the season, probably because it was a intense workload for a young kid. But he was without him, I don't think the Cubs make the playoffs because that loss of Justin Steele would have been devastating. And then this kid just stepped in and said, "Okay, hold my beer, I got this,"
Yep.
and then pitched like an ace.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's Drake Baldwin. I mean, I love Cade Horton and watching it. I picked him up on fantasy. He got me into the playoffs. He actually got me in the championship. The kid was lights out. But for me, it's Drake Baldwin. He pretty much told multi all-star catcher to just here sit on the bench. You're done for the year, and the front office is going to try to move you now because I'm here to stay. 274, 19 homers, 111 hits, 3.3 WAR. I think it's in the catching position too. I just I think it will go to a position player here. So that's ultimately why I chose Drake Baldwin, for the simple fact that he made an all-star type catcher sit on the bench. Now, great, right? Made Sean Murphy expendable,
Yeah.
1,000%. And in the front office has been shopping Sean Murphy like crazy, and no one will take him. But it's Drake for me, so I'm going to take Drake here.
Yep. Yeah, and Carl, Cade Horton, I mean, when the Cubs were twisting in the wind, falling apart,
Mhm.
he was the only consistent guy they had. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I say without him, they don't make the playoffs because that he was the only guy that kept them afloat when they were just lost in August.
Yeah. He was filthy. Like
Gross.
he wasn't just good, he was filthy. So I'm with you. I think this is a
Gross.
close vote.
Very.
So in a not so close vote, we'll go to the AL. And this is, I love Roman Anthony. I love Jacob Wilson. He was a blast to watch in the first half of the season, just absolutely peppering the ball all over Sacramento. This is Nick Kurtz Award, and it's a no-brainer. This might be the biggest gap in awards, well, other than Paul Scanes, which we'll get to in a couple minutes. But this one is an absolute landslide for me. If Roman doesn't get hurt towards the end of the year, it's maybe a little bit more of a conversation. But I mean, Nick Kurtz, 4 home run game as a rookie, almost a 5, missed it by a foot. I mean, what are we even talking about here? This kid was an absolute beast. And not only that, he did all of this damage coming up in June. He didn't even play a full season, and he is going to be a Gold Glove first baseman. This kid is disgusting defensively. He is the full package.
I mean, yep. I mean, I agree with literally everything you just said. I think the only downside is I don't think he's the rookie of the year. He might be the rookie of a generation.
Fair.
I mean, I can't think of a rookie that came up and literally just said, "Oh yeah, watch this," and just destroyed Major League pitching for the time he was up. I mean, he played in 117 games and put up those numbers: 290, 36, and 86. A 383 OBP. He was he was the best first baseman in baseball for most of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, he's now in the conversation of like, if you started the team tomorrow, who do you take? Probably Nick Kurtz.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's now in that conversation of guys you would build an entire organization around. He is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Now I am gonna hold that just a little bit because we do see guys struggle sophomore season, right?
Yes.
Teams have time to sit at home, look at the tape, and they're going to attack the crap out of Nick Kurtz, especially if they're in the AL West. They're going to be like, how do we get this kid out? They are going to spend a lot of time this offseason trying to figure that out. And my case in point is Corbin Carroll, right?
Yep.
Corbin Carroll coming out his sophomore, he had a huge rookie season. Sophomore slump was tough because they learned, oh, we just go up and in on Corbin Carroll. He can't touch that pitch until Corbin Carroll made the adjustment and learned how to hit it, but it took him half a season. Now, same thing could happen to Kurtz here, but for me, this dude sprays the ball all over the field. There's really not a hole in his swing that I can see at the moment. Now, I don't have a ton of tape on him. I'm just looking from the games that I watched. And I watched a lot of A's games because that offense was a blast to watch this year.
Yes.
Absolute blast.
I watched more athletics baseball this year than I probably have in the last few years combined.
Oh, my whole life
Last
combined.
10
Easy.
years combined.
Yeah. So I think he's still going to be a beast, but I wonder what sophomore year looks like here. But this award, AL Rookie of the Year, it's a landslide. It's not close. Could be close to unanimous, do you think? Or do you think Roman steals a couple votes here?
I I I can't see anybody justifying a vote for anybody else. It should be unanimous. Maybe somebody will, that's a homer will vote for somebody else, but it's Kurtz. I mean, it was Jacob Wilson for the first half of the season. Then Kurtz just blew up, and it was like, sorry, Jacob, you're out, buddy.
Yeah. Well, and Wilson, if Wilson's not hurt, it's a different conversation because
It
we're
is.
looking at Jacob Wilson possibly having over 200 hits his rookie season. Because he was at what,
Yeah.
111 at the break? I want to say that was the number
Yeah, he was
before the
he was
All-Star
on
break.
pace to challenge Ichiro. I mean, that's where he was trending, and then he just had a
Yeah.
difficult rest of the year finishing off. Yeah,
Yeah.
he ended the season with 151 hits, and he did that in 125 games. I mean, he missed 30 was that 37 games.
Yeah. He missed like almost the whole month of August, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, 37 games, he probably gets at least 50 hits in those games. You're talking about a 200 hit rookie season, which would be unheard of,
Yep.
except for Ichiro.
Right. So, yeah, Nick Kurtz, no brainer. Let's move on. AL Cy Young. This one could be closer than people think, but ultimately, I think I'm going to go with back-to-back Cy Youngs with Tarek Skubal here.
Yeah.
Everybody knows his stats. I mean, everybody knows both these guys' stats. I don't need to rattle them off. They're both absolutely disgusting.
Yep.
But I think it's Skubal here.
Yeah, and it really comes down to like how do you want to measure him? I mean, Skubal 13-6, 2.21 ERA, 241 Ks and 195 innings. You know, Crochet 18-5, a 2.59 ERA, 255 Ks and 205 innings. I mean, literally, you can flip a coin
Mhm.
in terms of what these guys do. I went with Crochet because
Homer.
I mean maybe, but I went with Crochet because the trend with Skubal is, and we saw this down the stretch, is when things go off the rails a little bit, he can't recover. And we
That's a
saw
good
him
point.
get batted around by the Indians in September. We saw him get beaten up pretty good by the Marlins in September when they badly needed wins and they were spiraling. He had a couple of really just laid eggs against teams they should have won against. And for whatever reason, that Tigers team has a tough time playing defense behind him. And he gives up a lot of unearned runs and innings get away fast.
Justice says Skubal pitching, 10 out of 10. Tossing the ball through his legs, 0.5 out of 10.
I'll still never understand that play, what the hell he was
Yeah.
doing. But
Yeah.
I looked at it, down the stretch, I think Skubal had some bumps. Crochet was the same guy pretty much all year. 18 wins, more strikeouts. To me, I took Crochet because I feel like Skubal, as good as he is, when he's off, he's off.
Yeah.
And he was off a little bit more in September than I would have liked to have seen him, given the fact that team was struggling.
Yeah. And I think the thing with Garrett Crochet that I'm with you is hitters around the league, like post game, after it's like, hey, what's it
Yep.
like facing Garrett Crochet? And they're just like, he's the best pitcher in the game.
Yep.
And to them, it's not even close. Like sometimes you know what's coming with Garrett Crochet and you still can't touch it. The dude has a different mentality when he's on the mound. He is a stopper. If the Red Sox are skidding and you got Crochet going the next day, you're like, all right, our bullpen gets a rest. Crochet's going 8, and he's going to give up maybe 1 run. It's it's a hard one for me. I think you said it. Like flip a coin. I'm putting their name on the ballot. Both are deserving. But man, I think it's Skubal. I just have an inkling about it.
Yeah. And it's honestly, again, both of those guys are deserving of a Cy Young award. They are. Those are 2 of the probably 4 best pitchers in baseball. Yeah.
My my wife just perked up and paid attention, thought I was listening to a crochet podcast. That's
Boy, was
awesome.
she disappointed when she saw our ugly mugs.
Yeah, right. My mom crochets blankets. That's about it. So I don't know. We put
Yeah.
her onto her, but yeah,
Yeah, the only
both
crochet I know starts every 5 days in Boston.
in facts. Yeah, I think I'm not upset with whoever wins this award. Both are
Nope.
deserving. So, um, John, don't give your hopes up here. He's going to Boston.
He's
He's
going to
going.
LA, stop it.
Okay, fair. But so John says Skubal's getting his package would be Castillo, Hancock, Montes, and another prospect at winter meetings. I can one up you. I'll go Jaron Duran, Christian Campbell, Peyton Tolley, and possibly Connolly Early for Tar Skubal.
And you can totally have Tristan Cassis too. He's yours.
Yeah, just for the heck of it. So, yeah. All right, let's.
Yeah, Michael, you can't call me out like this. I don't crochet, I knit. We all know it. We
Yeah.
all know it.
All right, let's switch over to Steve Cohen. We'll give Skubal a blank check. You're not wrong, Nico. I
No,
mean,
Nico, you're totally right. And Steve Cohen should, because that pitching staff is atrocious. And they tried to, you spent a bajillion dollars on Juan Soto and then tried to go buy your pitching at Kmart.
but if you have Skubal in front of those 3 kids, and those 3 kids can learn from Skubal, that Mets staff might be dealing. They might
I
be.
mean,
They might be all right.
you're in much better shape. I mean, Robertson and McGill, should be around. You had Clay Holmes, who's actually pretty good for you. Sanga, who was a disaster for a big chunk of the season. Those young kids, granted, I'm sure some, if not all, those young kids would go in the Skubal trade, but
Well,
that's okay
yeah.
because Skubal's worth all of them combined, anyways.
Or you just wait
Um,
till he's a free agent and then open up the checkbook.
well, and that's if I'm Steve Cohen, I might just say, look, I'll just wait a year and I'll overpay this guy. It's just money. He can just stash it aside in one of his hedge funds now, make a return on it, and take care of it.
Yep. All right. NL Cy Young, Paul Scanes. Moving on.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be by far the pitcher with the lowest win total to win a Cy Young, right? But
It's sad.
1.97 ERA is going to do that. I mind blowing, really. We had my buddy Josh Rodriguez sent me a meme of Paul Scanes earned runs allowed by Paul Scanes in his 55 Major League Baseball starts.
I saw that. It's so sad.
3-0-1-2-3-0-1-1-1-1-1-0-2. I mean, like,
it's gross.
His highest one is 4. He's given up 5. Sorry. He's given up 5 once and 4 times. Everything else is under 4.
And there's just a ton of zeros on that list. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Best pitcher in the game, right? Not even close.
It's not even up for debate. There's Paul Skeens and then like Tariq Skubal and Garrett Crochet. There's a gap. There's a gap. I mean,
it's
crazy. The dude pitches for a garbage organization that plays borderline terrible defense behind him, scores no runs, and he still managed to. And he actually was worse this year than last with a 1.97 ERA. the guy has not posted an ERA over 2 in 2 full seasons in the big leagues. And don't forget the fact that he was basically drafted and fast tracked to the major leagues. Like, it's just not normal to do what he's doing. He is 23 years old with 2 years of major league service, and his career ERA is 1.96. Best pitch. He might be one of the best pitchers I've ever seen.
Period.
End of story. Like, not right now, like ever.
We've seen some pretty damn good ones too. Randy
Johnson.
Johnson.
I would put his stuff against all those guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable.
I got to see him live, and he was facing a Diamondbacks team before they all got dealt. And it was just insane how foolish he made these guys look.
It's gross.
I mean, it was absolutely, it was a clinic. Absolute clinic.
And the dude doesn't miss a start. He's out there every 5 days. Just give me the ball, get out of my way. And yeah, Ryan, you're not wrong. Without teammates, he'd have the same stat line. Like, literally, his team contributes nothing to his success. And that's the sad part, is that here's a guy who's got a career 1.96 ERA, 21 wins in 55 starts.
That's brutal.
It's hard. It's atrocious. How have you not won 35 games at least by now with a 1.96 career ERA? What just a horrible stat line.
I can have a 10 ERA and accidentally win 35 games. Think about that. Like, that's how bad the Pittsburgh Pirates are.
Terrible.
Brutal.
Terrible.
No. All right. Well, let's go over to the NL MVP. My pick
The
is
Shohei Ohtani trophy.
the Shohei Ohtani trophy. Yeah. And I know everybody roasted us during our preseason picks because in our preseason picks, we tend to not try to pick the obvious. So, like, my MVP pick this year was Ketel Marte. Yours was Tucker, I think.
Tucker.
So, like, we knew it was like Shohei Ohtani. So the preseason picks were like, okay, like, we're not going to pick Judge and Ohtani because, well, they're
Yeah.
most likely going to win it.
Yeah.
So we tried to go against the grain. So,
yeah.
But for this one, realistically, it's Shohei. And again, I mean, Schwarber might have the only other case.
Yeah, I mean, and Schwarber,
Maybe.
like, and I tried to make a case for Schwarber, and you can make a case for Schwarber because there were parts of the season where he was literally like all of their offense. But I mean, he had Shohei in home runs, he had him in RBIs, I think he had him in a lot of stats. But let's be serious, like these guys are not going to vote for anybody but Shohei, and I'm not even sure MLB would allow anybody but Shohei to win this award
Mhm.
because they got to just keep the momentum going. But Schwarber had him in home runs, he had him in RBIs. Um, Obviously didn't have him in stolen bases or runs because Otani's leadoff hitter. Um, I mean, and otherwise they kind of just traded things, slugging and OBP, and Schwarber had a great year, but there's just not a world in which he wins over Shohei. Just
Yeah,
doesn't
but
happen.
what is Schwarber's ERA?
I mean, he doesn't have one. Actually, it's 0, Nick. Yeah, one up
Yeah.
that, buddy.
No. Yeah. See, and exactly how many innings did Schwarber throw? Yeah, exactly. I mean, so you even have that aspect of Shohei that just puts him in his own league, really.
Yeah, I mean, Shohei threw 47 innings. He was 1-1 with a 2.87 ERA. I mean, did he contribute much on the mound? No, but he was on it, and that's not nothing.
Right. Yeah.
You
My
gotta
vote
do
would be
some
Otani. Yeah, this message brought to you by the commissioner's office. Yeah.
I mean, let's
Yeah.
be serious. I mean, he is one of the 2 or 3 best players in baseball. He is the face of baseball right now. He is
Mhm.
bringing in ratings and money like very few players have ever been able to impact the game. He is the golden goose. He is the poster child, and you have to keep promoting the poster child.
Yeah.
Also helps that he's good.
Yep. All right. Before I flip this next slide, I personally am going to apologize to our Seattle Mariners fans, but you guys know where I stand on Cal Raleigh. But ultimately, for me, this is the same reason Otani's going to be picked over and over and over again.
Yep.
It's Aaron Judge, and I hate that Cal Raleigh's season was absolutely insane, out of the catcher's position. Yes, his defensive metrics were down a little bit from last year, but still premier position. No, some of his home runs came out of the DH. I get it, but for me, Aaron Judge led in every other category and not just by a little, like by a lot. And I think ultimately the writers pick him. This isn't me necessarily picking Aaron Judge because I want Cal Raleigh to win the AL MVP. This is how I think it will happen. Is I think the writers will tend to go towards the stat sheet stuffer versus the Cal Raleigh 60. Now, call me crazy if you will, and you still might. If Cal Raleigh got to 61, I think it's different. I think that one homer honestly changes a little bit of thinking, which might be crazy to say, but for me, this is Aaron Judge.
I mean, follow me here for a moment. This is the line. 331 batting average, 53 home runs, 137 runs scored, 114 RBIs, 457 OBP, 688 slugging. Oh, that's Aaron Judge. This might be one of the best offensive seasons I've ever seen in terms of batting average, OBP, power,
Yeah.
179 hits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he walked 124 times on top of that. I mean, Yeah, I think ultimately Aaron Judge wins this award. I think the writers are going to look at the stat line and just not be able to get over it. But I really think when you talk about value, most valuable, Cal Raleigh playing Gold Glove quality defense where he got robbed of a Gold Glove, and with the power, it's just it is so outside of the norm and outside of the typical mold that I can't overlook the fact that he's doing something from that position that's never been done. And Aaron Judge is having a monster season like dozens of players have had. And
Yeah.
that's how I look at it. Ultimately, I think Aaron Judge wins, but I really think when you talk about most valuable, not most outstanding, it's Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, it will be interesting, right? This is a regular season award. So I understand what you're saying, John.
Oh yeah.
65 total, Yankee Stadium versus T-Mobile, like that has something to do with it too. But listen, I want Cal to win the award. I really do. I want Cal Raleigh to win it. I think he deserves it. The year he put in, winning the home run derby, the All-Star appearance, like the pressure he had going down the stretch to get to 60. And he did it with what he had 6 homers left to go with like 5 games, and he still got there. Like, I mean, it was impressive to watch this dude all year. Pressure never got to me. But I'm making this pick on what I think is going to happen, not what I want to, which I usually don't, but I am this time because I think the writers can't not vote for Judge. But I think this is close. I really do. I think this is the closest vote race we have.
Yeah. This one I think is going to be a tight one. And I tend to vote more with what I think will happen versus what I want to have happen. And I'm voting the opposite. I want to see Cal win it. I think Aaron Judge will win it, but I just can't make him my pick because I just think that we're the baseball world is overlooking what Cal accomplished given the position that he plays and the beating that he took and all the innings that he caught and the pitching staff he managed. Like it's Aaron Judge played at the outfield and DH'd. Cal Raleigh caught and DH. They're not the same.
Yeah. This is a fair point, John. If Cal doesn't win this year, we will look back in 20 years and go, we messed up because there's no way he or anyone does this again as a catcher primarily. And that's a very valid point.
Yep.
This will be, I don't know if I would say a lost season, but it could be not talked about in years to come. Like our kids grow up and be baseball fans. If Cal doesn't win MVP, are they going to talk about the Cal Raleigh 60 home run season? I don't know if they will. That's a valid point. I mean, maybe it's
It's
historical.
it's also hard because as big a city as Seattle is, it's still a little market nobody pays attention to.
Yeah.
It's a team that's never been to a World Series. It's way the hell out in the upper left-hand corner of the country. It's got a great local fan base, but it doesn't draw a national audience. Like it's hard because Cal Raleigh he's on like the middle school stage and Aaron Judge is on Broadway and Cal Raleigh just doesn't get the same attention.
Yeah. Yeah. If Raleigh wins, it'll be Mo Vaughn and Albert Bell from 1995 all over again. Oh, you mean if?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you can argue both sides of it for sure.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. We will see what happens, but all
Again,
right.
like
Nope.
either one of those guys could win it and are totally deserving of it. This is the tough one because you really have to get into what value means.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Harrison. Here we go. In or out. Baseball Hall
Oh
of Fame.
God, these again?
I got 3 more for you tonight.
Oh,
You guys
man,
can join us in the chat.
you just want to find a new co-host. I get it.
I do. So I have a whole list of names that me and Justin put together the other day. So get ready for these in the next couple weeks.
Oh,
So
so is Justin trying to push me out so he can take my seat? Is that what's going on here? Is this a coup?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, geez, guys. I'm gonna get pushed out by the geese. I love it. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, you won't. So here we go. In or out. If Aaron Judge retires tomorrow,
Oh,
in the Hall or out of the Hall?
if he retires tomorrow, I'm going to say out of the Hall. Numbers are good. 368 career home runs. He hasn't hit the 400 mark yet. 294 batting average. 830 RBIs. He just isn't there yet. He's just now finished his 10th season. So I think if he
So
retired today, I think he's short. He doesn't have the RBIs, doesn't have the home runs. He's won a couple of MVPs. He's been an all-star, won some Silver Sluggers. No World Series title to his name. I just think he's short.
I can definitely get behind your argument, but he almost falls in the Shohei category for me. As in, like, people look back on this era and the first name that they're going to think about is Aaron Judge, whether he retires tomorrow or plays another 10 years, right? You look back into 2015 to 2025, who's the first players that pop into your mind? Mike Trout, Aaron Judge. So for me, for this era, I think he's in. Now, stats wise, I totally agree with you. I think he's short in everything, right? But the Hall's letting everybody in, so for me, Judge is in. But yeah,
Yeah,
John,
it's
nope, I get it.
yeah. John Carter thinks he's in. Michael says no. John says no. Yeah, and Ryan, I'm with you. I think that he's short. He needs a couple more seasons, and I think it's a different story. But I think 368 and 830 just doesn't get it done.
Yeah,
Now, to Nick's point, does that mean the writers wouldn't vote him in? No, the writers could vote pretty much anything in. And at this point, I kind of throw my hands up and I say I don't even know what they call it, what they consider a Hall of Famer anymore. But statistically, does he belong yet? No, 100% does not belong. Could he get a free pass because is so popular and is such kind of big part of baseball for a stretch of time? Yeah, I could see that. I just
yeah,
I just don't think he's earned Hall of Fame status yet. But he's not
yeah,
far off. Give him a couple more seasons, he'll be there.
I agree. If Zach Greinke retires tomorrow, is he in the Hall or out of the Hall? Now, Zach Greinke is really interesting to me because he's a pitcher of two careers, really.
He really
Like
is.
like fireballer at the beginning of his career, and then kind of had to adapt and learn how to pitch, and was still pretty dang effective. So, would you put him in or would you not?
Boy. I look at Greinke, so career record of 225 and 156, 349 ERA, 3,389 to third innings, 2,979 strikeouts, 77.4 WAR.
I mean, 77.4 WAR is
Wow.
pretty crazy.
Ugh. That is a tough one. I mean, he hasn't pitched now in 2 seasons because I mean he's basically retired without actually officially retiring.
Yeah, because he hasn't officially, has he?
He
I
hasn't.
haven't.
No, he hasn't.
No.
He hasn't handed in papers. I think he's just hoping somebody will call. But he ended his career with a 2-15 with a 506, and I think that was pretty much that. Those were his papers. Was that stat sheet? Yeah, actually, Ryan, that's Zach Greinke doesn't care if Zach Greinke gets in. You are 100% right.
Yeah.
Um, man, for me, he is such a borderline case. If he had 3,000 Ks, I'd say yeah, he's in. Being short
He's
of that and at
21
225,
short. He's 21 short of 3,000.
I
Just
know,
give him
but
just give it to
that,
the kid.
and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason he hasn't turned in papers. He's hoping somebody's going to let him come back and pitch for like a month to let him get the strikeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have the 3,000 on his record. The 225 wins, I feel like, is shy.
But
He
that's
does have
actually really
he.
good for this era, though.
Well, it is.
225 for this era is crazy.
He's got 2 ERA titles, 6 Gold Gloves, a Cy Young. Um, he's like the ultimate borderline guy. I'm gonna say yeah. Zach Greinke goes in. I think he was liked enough, and I think he's kind of a sympathetic figure in the anxiety that he dealt with and all the stuff he had to handle. He's kind of a sympathetic figure. I'm going to say yeah, he goes in.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't think he's a first ballot. I think he's a, second, third, fourth ballot. Um, kind of a weak year kind of gets in, right? Because he was really dominant the first half of his career and was still very effective for the 20 years he pitched. Forrest, this is the statement of the night. His Hall of Fame induction speech would be something for which to take a day off from work. For sure. For sure it would be.
I'm actually with Ryan. I don't even know that he shows up for it. That dude has such amazing anxiety. I don't think he's going to stand up on a stage and talk.
That's fair.
I mean, this is the guy they used to have to like bring in somebody to like chill him out before starts because he would get so wound and so anxious.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they elect him, but he even shows up to the ceremony.
Yep.
It'd be like when you graduate college, they just mail you the diploma. It's like, I'm out. Just mail it to me.
Yep.
I'm not showing up.
Yeah. For me, I think he's in, like I said, maybe not first ballot, but I think he would kind of sneak in there on a ballot later down the road because he will get enough votes to stay on the ballot for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, 20 years pitching, man, is pretty impressive. That's a lot of innings too. 3,389. I'm with you. He's definitely borderline, but I think he's in.
Yeah. I'll never forget him throwing that like 48-mile-per-hour eephus pitch
Yeah.
when he was in Houston,
Yep.
just out of the blue. And people were like, what the hell was that?
Yep.
I mean, he was such a strange character.
Yep. Love it. All right. The last one I got for you, Harrison. If Aroldis Chapman retires tomorrow, in the Hall or out?
Out. I think because the off the field stuff, I think that immediately disqualifies him in the writers' minds and in most fans' minds too. The guy's kind of a dirtbag, and he doesn't have 400 yet. I think you have to. I think you have to have 400 to get consideration, and he doesn't have 400 yet. He's not far off, but I think he's out because he doesn't have 400 saves. I think he's out because of the off the field stuff. I think that they would just kind of shy away from. He's a Hall of Very Good player and a guy that at his peak was one of the most dominant closers we've ever seen. But Eric Gagne was the most dominant closer I've ever seen for a few years. Doesn't make you a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. For what you said, I think he changed the closer role to what it looks like today, right? Guy coming in out of the bullpen, throwing 105 here, hit it. If you can't, game over, right? He completely changed the game there. But I'm with you. I think he's ultimately out because this is gentleman's club. You, sir, are not a gentleman because of your off the field stuff. And that keeps him out alone. I think even if he gets to 400, 450, which he's not, but if he does, I still don't think he's in. He's in the Hall of can throw 106, and he's already in there, right? I mean, Aroldis Chapman has stuff in there. All these guys that are not Hall of Famers, Bonds, Rose, Clemens, their stuff is in the Hall of Fame. Like,
I know.
Baseball still celebrates them. It's in the museum. They just don't have a plaque downstairs.
It's kind of silly.
Yeah, they still celebrate the guys, and they have Aroldis Chapman's like fastest pitch on the wall in an exhibit.
Yep.
They have a whole case of Pete Rose record-breaking uniform. Like, so they still have those stuff for those guys. But yeah, I'm with Harrison. I think ultimately he's not in the Hall because of the off the field stuff and gentlemen's club.
Yep. I think that it's going to be a tough one for the writers to be able to get comfortable with.
Yep. So, all right, Harrison. I got some team spotlight trivia for you. And
that explains the hat now.
Yep, explains the hat, right? If you guys know, I like to throw little Easter eggs in my posts in the reels. The background colors are always a clue in my trivia post, which it's funny. A lot of followers still have not picked up on that, which kind of like some have, right? I threw one with Jack Morris out there and I had the Detroit Tigers colors behind it. And they're like, They're like, well, it can't be this guy. It has to be Jack Morris because of the colors. And I'm like, there you go. You picked up on the little hint there. So threw in the Easter. And just like during Jeopardy, I would always wear a hat that led to the final Jeopardy clue. So just keep your eyes out for that in the future, because
And
I think I'm more clever than I really am.
and sometimes you would lean the hat right into the camera as a hint.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the Mike Schmidt one, and I had the Phillies on, and I was just like, but
Yeah, now I'm John. I watched a documentary 2 weeks ago, so let's see how much I soaked up. I actually have not watched the documentary yet. I keep meaning to watch it, and then I get sidetracked with other stuff because Nick works me like a dog. Um,
true.
I've not seen it yet. I need to because I've been told it's very good.
Yeah, and I can now speak fluent French, so be prepared to do some reading.
Like actual French or like the 4-letter French that we all speak.
Yes, there's a lot of
Okay, good.
both.
Got it.
But it's good. I watched it 2 nights ago. I thought it was good. That's what kind of inspired me to do this team spotlight trivia, and I'm gonna, pick a new team each week and kind of go with it. So every Thursday we will have team spotlight trivia. So I thought
All
it would be
right.
kind of cool. So here we go. Here is the first one. In 1994, the strike year, who was leading the team in home runs before the season ended abruptly? He had 22.
Man, that 94 Expos team got robbed of what could have been such a good and imagine if the Expos go to the World Series or win the World Series, does that change the future of baseball in Montreal?
They cover all of that in the
Yeah.
documentary.
Oh, great.
Ryan, it's on Netflix. It's called
What killed the Expos or
What's
something,
Killed
wasn't
the
it?
Expos. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Huh. We got
Yes,
we got
Ryan.
answers in the chat.
It is absolutely Moises Alou. Good. Ryan got it. John Temple got it. Will Cordero, good guess, but it is Moises Alou. I'm pretty sure I had that poster as a kid. That's why I kind of threw it in there. But
I'm pretty sure I've seen that one before. I might have had it too.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that knee knocker stance is immediately recognizable.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Next one. Who was missing from this top 4 list of most career home runs for the Montreal Expos? Vladimir Guerrero, 234. Andre Dawson, 225. Gary Carter, 220. This guy at 204.
Is that a lefty? It looks like a lefty.
It's not a lefty.
Those silhouettes sometimes get me all twisted up.
Oh, yeah. They do for me, too. And I actually know who the players are.
That's a good point.
1980 to 1992 with the Expos, 93 to 95 with the Dodgers, and then the Angels, and then back to the Dodgers to end it. It's not Winfield. Yes, Harrison got it. Oh, Joseph got it too. It is Wallach. Walker's a great guess. Rock Raines is also a great guess, but it is Tim Wallach. Tim Wallach for sure.
We had him as a trivia question months ago, and
Mhm.
like just like kind of the stats when he did. And I honestly never realized Tim Wallach was as good a player as he was.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a hint here, Michael. Will Cordero is not an answer on tonight, so I'll give you guys that hint. So, all right, here is the next one.
Unless it's who had the most charges pressed against them, then it might be Will Cordero.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Who is missing from the top 4 list of highest career batting average for the Montreal Expos? Minimum 400 games played. Vladimir Guerrero, 323. Jose Vidro, 304. Tim Raines, 301. And this guy at 295.
What's amazing is that Vladimir Guerrero hit 500 on balls that bounced first.
At
If
least.
only he played cricket.
Yeah. It's not Rose. It is indeed Rusty Staub. Nice job, Michael.
Nice pull.
Yes, Rusty Staub for sure. All right. Yep, Legrand Orange. So, nope, not Larry Walker. All right. Who holds the team record for most career pitching strikeouts for the Montreal Expos? 1,621 Ks.
We know it's not the guys you'd expect it to be because none of them stayed very long.
No. This guy was like, you think Expos pitchers, and this guy is there.
Is this the guy that played in all 4 stadiums or whatever it was in Canada?
No, not John Candelaria. No, this guy was only a Montreal Expo his entire career. 73 to 85.
Oh, wow.
It is Steve Rogers. Yeah, he got it. Steve Rogers, 1,000%. Nice job. So, yep, Steve Rogers. That's Steve
That's
Rogers.
what I was saying. That's what I was saying, John. It's not the guys you'd think because those guys weren't around.
Yeah, well, sure as shit isn't Pedro. Yep, that's right. Yeah, right. Joseph got to Steve Rogers. Good. Yeah, don't second guess yourself, baseball history dork. Come on now, you got this. Forrest over there second guessing himself. You don't need to. He's got it.
Come on, Forrest. If I'm going to lose my co-host seat, it should at least be to you, not the Geese.
Oh, shots fired.
You got to pick up your game here.
All right, here we go. I got 3 more for you. Who is missing from this top 4 list of most career saves for the Montreal Expos? Jeff Reardon, 152. Ugeth Urbina, 125. This guy at 109. John Wetland making the countdown at 105.
Well, basically the 3 closers I can think of for the Expos are already all listed. So now I'm curious who this 4th guy is.
I think you'll know the name when you see it because he was a late 90s guy.
Oh. Oh, Joseph's got it. That's totally who that is.
It is where to go. It is Mel Rojas. Yes, yep. Nice job. Yep, for sure.
I completely forgot about him.
Yep. Nice work. All right. The silhouette on this next one might give him away, but I'm going to do it anyways. Who is missing from this top 4 list of most career stolen bases for the Montreal Expos? Tim Raines, 635. Marquise Grissom, 266. Andre Dawson, 253. This guy at 187. Yeah, you already got it, Harrison. Yep. Yeah, I already knew you did.
It's like it's gotta be, right?
Yeah, it's the silhouette or it's the helmet. The helmet gives him away for sure.
It's so funny, but it's like, oh yeah, and like the upright running.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was always so upright.
Mm-hmm.
But he was fast, which made no sense.
Yeah, it is Delino DeShields. Nice job, Michael. Yeah, Ryan got it. Delino DeShield.
I don't think same timestamp.
Yeah, I don't think Ricky played in Montreal. I think that might be the only MLB team Ricky Henderson didn't play for.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Ricky don't go north.
Ricky don't do snow. Yeah, the Shields.
Oh, he might. In his heyday, I think he did some snow.
Well, that's.
Let's not rule that out.
I walked into that one.
Yeah.
Oh man, crazy. All right, Forrest. This one is just for you. Obviously, everybody else in the chat, but I expect Forrest to get this one right away.
Yeah, get your cape on, Forrest. You're here to save us all.
Who was missing?
The 93 Jays.
Sorry. Yeah. Who was missing from this top 4 list of being hit by the most pitches in their career for the Montreal Expos? Ron Hunt, 114. Tim Wallach, 64. Andre Dawson, 62. And this guy at 61. Yes, Harrison.
Yeah.
This might be a tougher one because he's in a bunting stance. I couldn't find a good one where he was in a hitting stance. So put him in a weird one.
because he.
Yes,
There it is.
it is Forrest. It is FP Santangelo. Nice job. Yeah, FP Santangelo. So yeah, hope you guys like that. The team spotlight trivia. That was a lot of fun to put together. And the Montreal Expos documentary kind of put me in the mood for that. So thought that was kind
That's
of cool.
cool. That's fun. Just to kind of go down memory lane with one particular team.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to do that every Thursday during the off season. I'm just going to kind of pick a team and just run down through some team stats and put it together. So every Thursday when it's my trivia night, expect a different team. So
Sweet.
they might be teams not in existence. They might be teams that are. We'll see. Whatever I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So
See how it goes.
all right. Before we open it up to you guys, Harrison thought I should put this in the show and we should talk about it. So, the brother-in-law of Taylor Swift said something on his podcast.
Brother
The other
Swift. Oh.
So Jason Kelsey was asked to they do put a stamp on it or not put a stamp on it. It's like a segment they do on the show. I don't know if you watch New Heights or whatever, but he goes, "That's why baseball sucks. You just buy World Series championships." He goes on to say, because Travis then goes, "Well, it was an exciting World Series," which it was. I agree with Travis. But Jason then goes, "It's exciting. It's exciting that a team that spent the most money and everyone knew was going to win the World Series won the World Series." He's like, "That's why baseball sucks." So do you agree with this or not? I can definitely see where Jason Kelsey is coming from in this quote for me, because I watched the clip a few times and I don't disagree with him. Yeah, they didn't win the 120 games like we said, but we sat here in our preseason prediction show and we're like, this is the Dodgers World Series championship, and it's why even play this season out? And that's how it ended. And they have spent the most money by far. So, is he wrong?
Yeah, Joseph, you lost me the minute you said Kelsey. I mean, I'm with you guys. I think these guys are funny, they're entertaining, but they're everywhere and it's annoying. I I think he's from a basic everyday fans perspective, that's how most of them think.
Yeah.
It is well, of course the Dodgers are going to win. The whole world picked the Dodgers to win, and we said that in going into the World Series. Like the pressure's on the Dodgers because they're supposed to be here, they're supposed to win. Like everybody rubber stamped this World Series as the Dodgers, and they showed up and they won it. Like yes, the ending we expected, we got. Um, but at the same time, it's not that simple because we have had teams that have not been highest payroll that have won. I mean, the Dodgers won it last year with the eighth highest payroll. I mean, you could
Yeah.
argue that there were 7 teams ahead of them, and so that doesn't hold. But somebody in the comments that's actually broke down the last 25 World Series championships, and there's only been 2 teams outside of the upper half of payroll that have won the World Series in that time frame. So you've had a bunch of teams, but they've all been, first, second, third, fifth, eighth, 14th. They've all been in the top half of payroll. But at the same time, it makes sense. If you're building a roster of talent, it costs money. One of the outliers was the Marlins in 2003. They were like
Mm-hmm.
25th in payroll. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a team that completely caught everybody off guard, and they got hot at the right time and won. The 2018 Red Sox were number 1 in payroll. The Yankees dynasty was number 1 in payroll. The Dodgers this year were number 1 in payroll. Like there's a ton of number ones on the list, but yeah, in general, the teams in the upper half of payroll are the ones that tend to be in the playoffs, the ones that tend to win because they're building bigger, deeper rosters with better players. But I think to the average outsider like Jason Kelsey is, because my guess is he probably doesn't watch a lot of baseball. That's the feeling. And I had mentioned that during the show after the World Series is that MLB put out the back to back champions, and the comments underneath that were pretty nasty with with a lot of fans that are just annoyed that the Dodgers bought a World Series. And we all felt like the Yankees bought the World Series back in 98, 99, 2000. it's just there's many situations where that's true. Not always, but I think to the average fan, what Jason Kelsey says is how a lot of them feel.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do like the fact that baseball has had parity the last 26 years. I mean, we've said it. We've had a different World Series champion since 2000 or 2000. Yeah, 2000 was the last back-to-back champion we had, except for 24, 25. Right? Dodgers are the first back-to-back since then. So there has been parity in baseball because I've said numerous times on this show, baseball at its fundamental level has parity in the game. Like no matter who you throw out there on any given day, like the game itself has parity, right? But when you have a team that spends an infinite amount of money on a team to make sure that you're getting the parity out of the game, right? Because I mean, every dollar you spend, you're making your team better to increase your chances and to take the parity out of the game.
Yep.
And when you have a gap like the Dodgers do, they have a huge advantage. And that's no fault of the players. Heck, that's not even a fault of the Dodgers, really, because they're playing within the rules, right? They're it's not like they're doing this illegally.
No.
So it it's does it suck? Yes. And for baseball fans, like hardcore baseball fans like we are, I, I think I think we can appreciate that the underdog can win and we pull for the underdog. But I get that the overall optics of this from a casual fan is not great. And heading into a lockout, I'm now starting to lean towards Jeff Passan, where he said the worst thing for baseball is if the Dodgers go in and win. If the Dodgers win in 2026, 2027 lockout's going to be even crazier.
Mhm.
Can you imagine if the Dodgers open the bank, open the vault, and be like, hey, players, come on in. You guys can choose which cash stack you want. You're playing the outfield for us. Heck, you'll just sit the bench and we'll need you to pinch hit maybe later in the game, but we'll still pay you $25 million a year to do so.
Yeah, just fill out this contract and put a number in that blank, and
Yeah.
then just sign it.
Yeah. Just tell me which stack of money you took. Was it stack A, stack B, or stack C? Then I know what to pay you. But I just, 2027 will be even more crazy if the Dodgers three-peat. Because I can't imagine the owners of the 29 other teams walking in there and being like, what are the Dodgers doing here? Get them out of here now. Like, so I don't know. I don't fundamentally, I don't think he's wrong here.
Yeah, I think he's oversimplifying it, but I don't think he's wrong because here's the stat. Since 1995, half of your World Series champions have been in the top 5 of payroll. 40% of your contestants have been in the top 5. Since 1995, 93% of your champions have been in the top half, and 83% of your contestants have been in the top half. The
Mhm.
only 2 low payroll teams that have won were the 0-2 Anaheim Angels and the 0-3 Florida Marlins. Were the only teams in outside of the top half that won. The Marlins were 25th and the Angels were like 21st. But or 18th, sorry, they're 18th. They weren't even that far away. But when half of your champions are top 5 payroll teams in a 30-year span, yeah, I mean, Jason Kelsey in a very oversimplified way is not wrong. It is about who builds the best team and spends the most money. And we've said that for I mean, we've said that since we saw the Yankees back in the late '90s and early 2000s. Like that was their MO.
Mhm.
They went and signed everybody. Um, it's if you're going to build the best team with the best players, it's going to cost you money.
Right.
I mean, I would venture to guess the same is probably true in the NBA. Same is probably true in the NHL. Your best teams tend to spend the most money.
Yeah. But, those sports have caps.
They do.
So is that where baseball's heading?
I mean, realistically, no. I don't think you'll ever see a cap in baseball because you can't take away the freedom that the players have had. They're never gonna let that fly. I think it's gonna be it's a hill that I don't think everybody's willing to die on. Some might, but I don't think everybody's willing to die on that hill.
Yeah.
I don't think you can change this. A good team costs money. And if you don't have the money to compete, but the problem is that's why your bottom 10 teams are never going to win
Yeah.
unless they
Ryan,
just like absolutely catch lightning in a bottle.
Ryan, this is a fair point too. People with platforms that large saying it like that isn't good for the game, but baseball has to step in. Right? I mean, like taking away free speech, like that's kind of a can't really do that, but I understand. Baseball has to step in and say, "Hey, like people are talking about this and we do need to address it." And how do we address it? I I don't know.
I I will say that I feel like 2025 was the first year where we came into the season going, it's the Dodgers. Like there's nobody else
Yeah.
that's going to win this.
Mhm.
I can't think of a year where it was like it's absolutely going to be this team, and like everybody was so sure of it. I
Right.
feel like this year was a bit of a bit different, and Jason Kelsey nailed it. Like the team that everybody knew was going to win and spent the most money won. Everybody called it back in February. Like the whole world knew that this was the Dodgers World Series to win. And then they had a weird season. And it was like, oh well, maybe not. But at the end, what everybody expected to have happen happened. But that is
Mhm.
not a common occurrence where it's that cut and dry that this team is so far above and beyond. Now, I agree with you. If the Dodgers come out next year and in the offseason they sign Kyle Tucker and some other huge names and they go win 110 games in another World Series, yeah, then Jason Kelsey's right and baseball has got a problem.
Mhm.
But I don't think we're at the point yet where it's the game is ruined. But I think you're beginning a trend where the Dodgers are going to just turn fans away. People
Yeah.
are going to say it's not worth watching to see the same team win.
Yeah, to back up your point, we were sitting there in the preseason and we're like, "Okay, which team has the best chance to challenge the Dodgers?" Like we weren't even picking a World Series champion because we had already put the Dodgers there on the pedestal. We were talking about which team has the best chance to knock off the Dodgers.
Yep.
And that's not how a baseball season should be started. You shouldn't have to start a season like that because yes, everybody starts 0-0, right? Everybody starts undefeated. Dodgers were already up by 10 games, 3 games into the year in fans' eyes, right? So I mean,
Yeah, it was
um,
over. It was over in April.
yeah, I just yeah, I don't it's just I don't know. I don't know how baseball fixes it at this point. Um, but if Dodgers win in 2026, it's going to get real ugly.
Yeah,
Real
'cause
ugly.
I look at 2025 as this is the year where baseball didn't break, but the whole world realized like baseball's sick. Like there's a sickness and it's got to get fixed.
Yeah. But John Carter also makes a good point. So let's put it all in perspective. This is also coming from a guy who got his tush pushed for his success. So
And the Eagles spent some money. Like that's not a team that runs a low budget organization. And Chad's totally right. Even with the cap in the NFL, there are teams that are spending kind of right at the cap. There's some that are spending a little bit less than the cap. But the NFL plays all the games with, restructuring contracts and adding void years to play. Like the NFL
right,
has teams that play their own form of salary cap kind of shenanigans,
right.
like the Dodgers do with deferred money. And I bet you'd find in the NFL that your team that wins is oftentimes towards the top of the pile when it comes to money spent too.
Hmm.
And coming from from somebody who grew up as a fan of the Patriots and saw the whole Tom Brady era, I mean, the Patriots played cap games all the time. Brady would sign a 1-year deal with 2 void years so he could spread the cap hit over 2 and then void the contract and then rewrite it. Like every team played their games. The Patriots spent money.
Yeah. And Pedro, I totally get this point. Like you guys act
Yeah.
like the Dodgers have won 4 in a row or 7 out of the last 10. And I get that comment. And yes, are we acting like that? Sure. All we're saying is back to back, if they win a third one next year, it's in trouble. Like baseball's in trouble because the gap between 1 and 2 are significant.
Huge.
Like we're not talking like, you know, $5 million. Like we're talking a huge gap between the top team and the number 2 team in revenue, right? That's what we're talking about. And we get baseball has parity. We said that, right? The last since 2000, we haven't had a repeat winner until now. But teams have not been teams. I say Dodgers really haven't started playing this deferment game to this extent until Otani came out and the Betts came over and they re-signed him. That's when they started pushing the money down the road. The issue, and we don't have a problem with them deferring money. What we have a problem with is the deferred money does not count towards the luxury tax threshold. So Shohei Otani gets paid 70 million a year, we'll say, right? 700 over 10 years. Only $45 million of that hits the luxury tax threshold a year. So what happened to the other 25 million? They don't have to pay taxes on it because they pushed it down the road. So if you're signing a guy for $70 million a year, essentially, that 70 million should count against the tax threshold, and it doesn't. That's where I think the change needs to be.
Yep.
The tax threshold, the amount of money you are paying them per year, whether it's spread out or not, whatever the length of the contract is, divide the 700 divided by 10, that's 70 million hits the threshold every year. That's not the case when you defer the money.
Yeah, and baseball, to Pedro's point, baseball has had the most parity of any sport for a long time. The
Yes.
concern is we're seeing that go away now. We're seeing the Dodgers, they won in 2020, and we can all laugh at the Mickey Mouse championship, but they won in 2020, they won in 24, they won in 25. Expectation is they'll probably win again in 26 because they're going to go sign a bunch more guys and jack that payroll up. And nobody's saying that. That's why I keep saying baseball's not broken yet. But the trend is now obvious to the outside world and to people that aren't necessarily avid baseball fans that like there is a problem that's got to get dealt with. And you look at the example of this year. So the Dodgers faced the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays are no slouches. They spend money. Toronto was 5th in payroll. They spent $100 million less than the Dodgers, and they were only 4 spots behind them. The Mets spent 341 because of that massive Soto contract. Then the Yankees were at 304, and then you drop off pretty quickly after that. You had 12 teams spend $200 million or more, and the difference between 1 and 5 was $100 million. Like it falls off fast. They spent the most money. They won the World Series, and there's nothing about what they're doing that's wrong. It's just that baseball's hung its hat on parity, which they've now begun to lose, and the rest of the world is watching this, going, "Oh yeah, you guys are screwed." Like this, this is just going to keep happening. And I don't necessarily agree with what Jason Kelce said, but the fact that perception was so clear after the Dodgers win from fans on the MLB Facebook page and social media, and the fact that Jason Kelce literally just like ranted like a fan on a podcast that gets millions of views, baseball can't hide from it anymore. The problem is obvious to even people that don't follow. And that I think is why you're going to see a very, very ugly 2027.
Yep. Yeah, agree. And John, we've said this too, right? And the cheap owners on the complete opposite end of the top team spending, right? They have to spend the money given by the tax threshold penalty instead of, giving the fans the same old number 2 pencil and trying to pawn it off as a Sharpie, as John says. Yeah, I agree with that. Like the penalty that is paid by the teams over the threshold should have to go back into the league, have to be spent on their team. But owners pocket it, and that's why they don't want to spend, because that's part of their income every year. But I just, the owners have to spend, as they got to somehow shorten the gap. It's just way too big at this point, right? And yes, parity is parity, and we like that as baseball fans, right? Every fan base has a feeling that their team has a shot. Well, minus a couple. Sorry, Pittsburgh. But you know,
Pittsburgh is 27th. There are 3 teams behind them.
how? That's crazy.
So, I mean,
Anyways,
as an
but
example, the lowest payroll in baseball is Miami at 68 million bucks compared to the Dodgers at 350 million. I mean, you got a 200 and call it 90-ish million-dollar gap between first and last. There's no other sport where you have a gap that large.
yeah, that's insane.
I mean, there's also no other sport where a team spends 350 million bucks, period. Like the NFL
Well,
salary cap is way lower than that. And they got to spread that over, is it 50, 55
yes,
guys?
sure.
It's a bigger roster. Then you got the NBA that spends that kind of money, and the team's like literally 12 guys. But
Yeah,
anyways, um, I just you have to find a way to take the top and the bottom and shrink it and get things back to the middle. The only
yeah.
problem is if you go out and tell a team like Pittsburgh that you've got to now spend the floor is 150 million, they don't have that kind of money. Like they can't do it because the revenue they have won't support it. The
Right.
Dodgers, the Dodgers are the Dodgers payroll is more than the revenue of the bottom half of the teams. Like they just can't. There's not a more money to spend. So unless you're going to start either kind of like the NFL does, helping to subsidize revenue and level things out, or put in the salary cap that is at a level that everybody can afford, which is going to be hard to do. I don't know how you make that work.
I think
How you can put LA and I mean Pittsburgh on the same platform and think it's going to work. Those markets are very different.
yeah, I think like I said, I think the deferred money, all of it, no matter what you're paying, has to hit towards the tax during their contract years. Whenever they are playing for your team on the field, that's when it should hit the threshold. So that money gets circulated back into the league. And then you can tell the owners, hey, your team's receiving 35 million just from the Dodgers. That's not even the other 5 teams that are over the threshold. Like you got to put that back into your team. You got to get your payroll to, maybe it's $15 or $15 million more or whatever. Like, and then by 2029, we need you at this. So like, you step it up, but then you find where that level is eventually and you get there. But they got to change something. And I think that's what's going to be the biggest fight in 2027 is trying to shrink that gap somehow. Because I don't, you're going to get pushback from the top, you're going to get pushback from the bottom, and you're going to get those middle market teams just sitting there with their legs back on the table, just drinking beers and listening to the fight because it's not going to affect them that much because they've been quote unquote playing by the rules the whole time. I don't know. It's man.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, and maybe limit deferring. That's a possibility too. You can defer 3 guys on your roster. Everybody else you have to pay while they're on the field. Right? I mean that could be a fix. Dodgers have the
yeah,
same revenue they have because of the history and market, but also the product they put out there. They invested in the team and now they're seeing the fruits of their labor. I agree, but and yes, Shohei Ohtani, absolute investment. Might be the smartest investment in sports because, like we've said, he has brought an entire country that is not exactly poor. Japan's
yeah,
got a lot of money over there, and the Dodgers are getting it all. There's no other team that gets money from Japan like the Dodgers do.
nope, nope.
Yeah.
So you look at after luxury tax, the Dodgers are going to be about $500 million in payroll. 350 plus about 150 million bucks in tax. They're about 500 million in payroll. There's only 6 MLB teams besides them that make $500 million or more in a season. That even have the revenue to support it. So you're going to tell Minnesota at a $324 million revenue that they need to spend 500 million to compete. Or you're going to tell, I mean, go to Boston. you're going to tell Boston they got to spend $500 million on a $574 million revenue. So you're asking the ownership group to come out of pocket for $100 million to fund operations. Like no owner in their right, and that's where this model is broken. No owner in their right mind is going to spend $2, $3, $4, $5 billion for a team to then fund it out of their pocket for years and never make a return on that money. This isn't charity, unless they're going to paint a red cross on the side of Fenway Park. You're never going to reach a point where these owners are going to operate at massive deficits. Steve Cohen, he's operating the deficit that he is because he blew contracts up and cleaned house.
Right.
He's still paying for that. When he flushes that through next year, you're going to see that payroll come down because he'll be rid of all that dead money that he ate. But it doesn't change the fact that there's no owner that's going to spend that kind of money to then fund the operations out of their own checkbook. It's not going to happen. So what's going to end up happening is that you're going to have owners that choose to sell. They're going to say, I'm out. I can't do this. And you're going to have buyers that go, well, the math doesn't work. I'm not buying your team.
Look at
or
the
if I do,
Twins.
yeah, or if I do, I'm buying it for half of what you want, and now you've devalued the whole league, and every owner loses.
Yeah.
So it's a really crappy spot to be in.
Yeah. And the Minnesota Twins are the prime example. They tried to sell, and nobody was going in there to buy that. So it's crazy.
Yeah, when podcasts aren't doing good numbers like Kelsey's was, the host always say a dumb quote. I mean, it's the reason that Max Kellerman was on ESPN for so long, because he predicted Tom Brady's downfall for like 5 straight years until he was right.
Right.
Yeah, these guys, Stephen A. Smith. People watch Stephen A. Smith because they love to hear the ridiculous stuff he's going to say. It's why he makes $30 million a year. When you're ridiculous in front of a big audience, people will watch just to tell you how much you suck. How we get that on this show. So
yeah, and we don't make millions.
Yeah,
we make billions.
Yeah, right. let's not downplay this, guys. But yeah, it's again, like we've talked about this on the show many times. I don't know how you fix this, but you can't have a team making $1 billion and a team making $300 million and expect them to ever compete in the same sport. Never going to happen.
Right. No.
You've got to find some middle ground to make it work for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, that was a big show. We're 2.5 hours. We got 2.5 hours in. So anybody, this is the part of the show you guys can throw anything at us. Gonna kick it to Harrison while you guys are thinking of questions or any topics you want to bring up. We're not going to end quite yet, John, but yes, please visit the Rounding Third store on Etsy. We have tons of merch on there, so check that out and support us. It would be really greatly appreciated. But Harrison, do you have anything else?
I do. As a Boy Scout, I always come prepared, Nick. So, I'm not sure if anybody saw, but the Silver Sluggers for the National League were announced today. So going around the National League, at first base, Pete Alonso won the Silver Slugger. At second base, your boy Ketel Marte won the Silver Slugger.
Whoop whoop.
At third base, it was Manny Machado. At shortstop, it was your boy Geraldo Perdomo.
I love that dude.
I know
he's one of my favorite players to watch right now.
He had such an incredible season too. And kind of undervalued because he loses the headlines there, but he had an incredible year. Around the outfield, you had Corbin Carroll, Juan Soto, and Kyle Tucker. Behind the plate, Hunter Goodman from the Rockies. Your DH was Kyle Schwarber. Just kidding, it was Shohei. And utility was Alec Burleson of the Cardinals. So those are your, and then the team of the year, the Silver Slugger team, was the Dodgers.
Shocker.
What
kills me there is my Diamondbacks have 3 guys on the Silver Slugger list, And it just shows you how much injuries kill your team right there. And especially injuries to your pitching
Yep.
staff. Brutal.
It is brutal. And then say what I got in the chat coming up. Oh, John Carter, yeah, Kenta Maeda going back to Japan next year. That was announced today.
Yeah. Yeah, saw that. I mean, good for him. I mean, that's another dude that's been in the league seems like forever and has had a solid career, but I'm glad he's still going to pitch for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also got my buddy John just texted me and he goes, yes, another John, you're welcome. The good old guy that didn't go after the lodged ball in the World Series, Justin Dean, was picked up by the Giants.
They DFA him?
Yeah, they waived him.
Yeah, the Dodgers DFA'd
Giants picked him up.
Gonsolin today too. They made a bunch of moves just to free up roster spots for all the moves they're going to make.
Yep. Well, and they're going to get another one when Clayton Kershaw retires. So
there you go. That they can fill with Shota Imanaga or trade for Paul Skeens or Scooble or whatever they're going to do.
Or all three.
Yeah, or all of the above. Why stop there? Why not run a 7-man rotation that are all Cy Young winners? All right. In other news, we had 13 players get qualifying offers today. So the qualifying offer this year is set at $22.205 million. So they set it as the average of the top 125 salaries for a given year. So as these contract numbers go up, so does the qualifying offer.
That went up, what, $1.5 million?
Yeah, that went up a
From
decent
last
chunk.
year?
Yeah, went up a decent chunk. So you're eligible for a qualifying offer if you've never gotten one before and you spent the prior season with only one team. So if you got traded, you don't qualify. So, and what that does is it gives if that player that received a qualifying offer declines it and signs elsewhere, now there's draft pick compensation that goes with that signing. So players getting the qualifying offer so far are Kyle Tucker, obviously not going to accept that at 22 million. Bo Bichette won't accept it. Framber Valdez probably won't accept it. Kyle Schwarber won't accept it. Imanaga is not going to accept it. Ranger Suarez got a qualifying offer, won't accept it. Dylan Cease got one, won't accept it. Edwin Diaz got one, won't accept it. Trent Grisham got it, and there's a belief that he will accept it, and he will go back to New York on the qualifying offer. Michael King got one, won't accept it. Zach Gallen got one, and they're not sure. He might actually accept it given how bad his season was. Brandon Woodruff got one. There's a high likelihood he'll accept it since he missed more time.
Yep.
Gleyber Torres got one, and the thinking is that he might accept it to stay in Detroit.
Interesting. I agree with the Gallen one for sure. He did not have a Zach Gallen-like year.
No, it was bad.
Yeah, it was not great. So I can definitely see him doing that.
Yep. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. There's definitely guys in there that there's no way they're going to accept it. There's definitely a few guys where they're going to have to think long and hard about it.
Trent Grisham's interesting to me because he had a career year.
Crazy year.
I think you would almost want to try to, but does he get 22 million on the open market? I don't know if he does.
I think people will see that as an odd year and not want to pay him for it yet until he does it again.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, he set his career high in home runs in like July. Like it was not close.
It wasn't close. Ryan, this is a good question. Do you guys think Murakami will translate well to the MLB? His Japan League numbers are godlike. I don't know. It's so hard because we do see guys that have, Masataka Yoshida. That's a firsthand experience for us as Red Sox fans. We've seen him. He was a high contact guy in Japan, great average, and he's okay here, right? Murakami's got a
35 points. He's hitting like 35 points less than his career average in Japan, less power. I think, it's a different style of game. So I think what we tend to see is these guys come over and you can take whatever they did in Japan and cut it by 15%, 20%. That's usually how they translate to the US.
Now, Murakami's a different animal because he's got a ton of pop.
He does.
Right? But I've also heard he's got a lot of K in his game. So
ton of it.
I mean, it translates well to the MLB at this point, to be honest.
Yep. It's
So
it's like everybody else.
I
It's
don't know.
he's got one swing. It's all or nothing.
Well, and it's going to be fine. I think he's going to translate perfect because he's going to have Shohei protecting him, Freddie protecting him, Mookie Betts protecting him. Murakami's going to be fine, right? So let's just call it how it is. He's going to be an LA Dodger next year. He's not going anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. So he missed 56 games in 2025 due to an oblique, but he hit 22 home runs in those 56 games, which was actually a higher pace than the 56 home runs he hit in 141 games in 2022. They compare his power to, he's got Aaron Judge's power and Joey Gallo's strikeout problem. That's kind of the card on him, is that he's going to K 200 times and hit a bunch of bombs. But the question is, how does he adjust to the pitching he's going to see over here, which is going to be higher velocity and a different assortment of break. So we'll see.
Yeah. Pedro, good question here. The thing for me about salary caps, if they work to bring parity, why do we have teams in football that never have a chance to win? Why is there less parity in the leagues with caps? For baseball, I think it's like I said, baseball at a fundamental level has parity. I mean, this is a far-fetched analogy, but a little league team could beat an MLB team fundamentally at some point, right? Just because it could be a 0-0 game, a little leaguer puts down a bunt and Dodgers throw it down the right field line and they scored inside the park, 4-base error, right? And the little league team wins 1-0. Like the fundamental game of baseball itself has enough parity in it. Football's interesting to me because I mean, you can have 2 or 3 playmakers and that's all you need. And if you have those guys for a long time, then your team's going to go on a run. I mean, I don't know. I don't know financially exactly how football works. I can only really speak to baseball, but for me, just baseball on a fundamental level has the parity that the Dodgers and these top tier teams are trying to take out by spending money, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think the other sports like the NBA and also the NFL are so dominated by individual players. Like, the Patriots ran off that. It was Tom Brady. It was Tom Brady, and then they just like flexed other players. And it was Edelman for a little while, Gronk for a while, but like
Moss.
there was Moss for what, a year and a half.
Yeah.
But it was, it was built all around Tom Brady. It's a quarterback league. Look at the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. Look at the Colts with Peyton Manning. Look at, as you go down, you look at the teams that have struggled year after year after year. They're the ones that have never found their quarterback. That is such a quarterback heavy league. It's not even funny. And then the NBA, it's all about who's got that number one scorer. And in some cases, just let's go build a super team because screw it. Let's see how that goes.
Right.
And then the NHL is kind of a funny one because you're running deeper lineups, but it's a goalie league. It's really the goalies dominate that league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think baseball, one guy can't take over a game because they don't play every game.
Right. And they hit once every nine batters.
Right. I mean,
they pitch once every 5 days.
So I just think that baseball, by nature, baseball has more parity because one player cannot have that big an impact on the game.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I can go 4 for 4 with 4 solo home runs. I had the game of my life. My team loses 10-4.
Yep.
Right. So even if I have the best game of my career, it still might not matter. Hell, we've seen teams throw no hitters and lose. That's what's crazy about baseball. Like you see something new every night. And the parity is unmatched. It's unmatched.
Yep. It's a game that naturally lends itself to parity because of the fact that one player can't totally change it.
Yeah.
And honestly, that the quality of the NBA is terrible. I'm not sure how anybody watches the NBA anymore. I had to laugh at the stats they were showing about comparing the World Series to the views for the NBA Finals. It was 50 million to 16 million. Nobody watches the NBA anymore. It's trash.
Yeah. Yep.
That league is dying a much deserved but painful death.
It's crazy.
I was gonna say Joseph. I was gonna say Connor McDavid ran the NHL till he ran into the Florida Panthers, and then they ran him. So yes, Connor McDavid runs the regular season, playoffs not as much because they ran into a buzzsaw. But
so all right. Do you all
I guess
have
just
anything
real
else?
quick on the Murakami thing. I think that I just think take what he did in Japan, cut it by 15%. That's probably who he is in MLB. But we've seen some guys come over and just never figure it out. Hideki, for as good as Hideki Matsui was, he was 2/3 the player he was in Japan. But
still pretty damn good.
Still a pretty good major leaguer. But they thought he'd come over and hit 40 plus home runs. It just wasn't. The game doesn't translate the same way.
Yeah. And Ichiro's the unicorn, right? He's the exception.
Well, contact will play anywhere. If you can control a bat like he did, you can do that against guys throwing 150 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour. It don't matter.
Nope. All right. Well, that was a lot. That was a great show. Holy smokes. We packed a lot there in 2.5 hours. But I think we are going to call it a night. Again, thank you to everybody in the chat. I know I say it, you guys are probably tired of hearing about it, or maybe you're not. Maybe you do like me pumping up your egos, but you guys are absolutely incredible. We couldn't do this without you. We love how you add to the show episode after episode, and the support that you guys give us on and off, the messages we receive throughout the week is absolutely incredible. And it's definitely the community that we want to keep building. We really, really appreciate it. We will be back on Sunday, and we'll have most likely more news over the weekend here. If not, we will come up with some topics and we'll talk some more baseball. So we are here still twice a week throughout the entire postseason. Not postseason, sorry, off season. And we have some pretty cool stuff planned, and hopefully some guests joining us on here as well. So stay tuned, stay engaged. We'll see you guys Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another action-packed show. Until then, be safe, make good decisions, and we'll see you Sunday at 9.